actually did right was toward the end of his presidency, he loosened the rules on Cuba, meaning that people could travel there and businesses could do business there, as I understand it, where they previously could not. There used to be a total embargo on visiting Cuba.
Yeah, it's even more than an embargo. It's really a blockade.
Like a prohibition.
Yeah,
straight-up prohibition.
The United States will pressure other countries to not do business with Cuba, too. So you're not really talking about something more than an embargo.
Right.
But, yeah, I mean, that's basically it. My takeaways are...
you were there for a week?
Yeah, I was there for a week.
Brought the family?
Socialism does not work. It doesn't work in Cuba. It doesn't work in Venezuela. It doesn't work anywhere. I know you might be thinking of Denmark or Sweden. That's not socialism. Those are social welfare programs. That a capitalist society has. And Cuba is moving towards that. I would say that the Cuban people seemed a lot more entrepreneurial and free market than most Americans I've met that are out there begging the government to take over this industry or that industry. The Cubans know that the government is, Byzantine and difficult to deal with. They know.
And you picked up on this just, from conversations?
Sure, talked with lots of people.
Shops and that sort of thing?
Yep. Hung out with one guy who had moved from the Netherlands to Cuba, and he had to redo his building that he purchased. And,
They let him buy a building in Cuba, so it's not all government property?
He married I don't know exactly how building ownership works, but yes, you can buy and sell property there.
I wonder if that's newer, that change.
I think that you will have a place to live, but I saw people living in bombed out buildings. I mean, some really
just bad,
rough-looking stuff.
Yeah,
and plenty of buildings just collapsing next to buildings that people are living in, and that kind of thing. So, yeah, government doesn't work in Cuba. It doesn't work in America.
Well, we reported over the years that there have been some economic reforms in Cuba since the death of Fidel, or the sickness and then subsequent death of Fidel Castro.
Yeah, I was told by one Cuban that basically you get paid about the equivalent of $40 a month from your government job, but most Cubans are working, if they're working a government job, they're working a private industry job too, in some way to sort of make things meet. And they can make in an afternoon what they would make in a month working for the government.
According to Reuters.com story about Cuba from last year, about some of the changes that have been made since Fidel Castro was on the outs, late former President Fidel Castro termed these changes concessions to the enemy, while his brother Raul Castro, who took over in Fidel's stead.
Yes, but he's not there now.
They put a governor in or something, right?
Yeah, something else, yeah.
They're
having elections, so I don't know what those elections entail. I don't know how free and open those elections are. I couldn't say anything, but there's another guy, and more reforms are on the way, and people can get internet now. So
barely, right?
That's pretty nice.
You said it was pretty miserable.
You have to go to a Wi-Fi hotspot, and then you can log on with like a card and some codes.
Who's running the Wi-Fi? Is it government?
My guess is that that's a government phone company, probably, or at least a company working with the government.
Former President Fidel Castro again termed these changes concessions to the enemy, but Raul, his brother, cast them in a more positive light and said they're an indispensable part of Cuba's future. The ruling Communist Party says the process has been harder than expected, and most of the reforms, which were first adopted at a party congress in 2011, then ratified 5 years later, are still a work in progress. Some of these changes are underway. For example, the development of a private sector have been subject to constant tinkering and increasing complaints about both growing social inequality and tighter regulation. Some of the highlights include that in agriculture, the government began leasing fallow state-owned land to prospective farmers in 2008. Since then, the length, size, and terms of leases have improved, although farmers must agree to cultivate certain crops or raise livestock for sale to the state. So it's not free market in farming, but they're actually allowing people to buy some land at this point, or I guess leasing. Currently, 151,000 people hold leases covering 1.2 million hectares, or 3 million acres of land. Sweeping agricultural reform began in 2010, including loosening restrictions and regulations on farmers to favor market forces and prices. The market reforms were reversed and the state-dominated system restored in 2015 on grounds that speculation was inflating prices. Regulations around small business.
Yeah, that's one of the difficulties. I remember the old story with, when the Soviet Union tried to eliminate money, then they're like, well, pardon me, guess that didn't work, so they reinstituted money, but how do we figure out pricing? Well, they had to go to the Sears catalog,
which doesn't work because the economics in one country aren't the same, or not, the economic situation isn't the same. And so
pricing doesn't work the same way.
Right.
For instance, if you wanted to, in Cuba, I was paying sometimes as low as $4 for a meal.
Wow, at a restaurant?
Yeah,
not bad. Do they tip in Cuba?
They seem to. There seems to be some tipping going on. Yeah. I don't like tipping. I think it's a stupid system. I understand it has to be done in the United States because that's how servers get paid. I'm not trying to undercut servers. I just think, a restaurant ought to pay its servers to do a good job, and if they don't do a good job, then they ought to be fired. I mean, this whole I'm going to give you some arbitrary amount of money after on top of my bill, it just doesn't make any sense to me. You don't do it in any other industry. It's growing, not shrinking. It's a bad idea.
We'll talk more about some of the reforms that have been happening there. Let's go to Lou, though. You can call in and talk about what's on your mind. In Indiana, you're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Lou.
Hey.
Hey, Lou.
Hey, this is the first time, for me calling and all that stuff. And I really do like listening to you all.
Thanks.
And all that stuff. And, I kind of share some of the same thoughts, especially with nobody. I don't know if that's good or not.
Nobody is one of our co-hosts. He's not on with us tonight, but thank you. Go ahead. What were you calling about?
But, you all talk about cryptocurrency a bunch.
We do.
And it's something I really don't know anything about. And, I'm kind of apprehensive or whatever it is. But,
sure.
I mean, totally, it is dependent on, like, the grid always be up and running.
Yep, it is.
I mean, right?
Yeah, if there's no electricity, then there's no Bitcoin transactions. That much is true.
And see, that kind of concerns me because, I kind of work, security, at a power plant and all that stuff. And I mean, it's very, it would be, well, I don't want to go into detail and all that stuff, but the grid is just like hanging by a thread.
Sure.
I have heard these accusations that the terrorists could take down the grid with some level of, relatively easily.
So the good news, Lou, and thank you for calling in tonight about this, is that once power comes back, Bitcoin's still there. The blockchain is this sort of indelible thing that cannot be destroyed.
By the way, if power goes out, the U.S. dollar is going to tank too. It is a digital currency.
Mostly, yeah.
Yeah, and if you're going to prep for success as well as failure.
Yeah, grab some gold and silver. That's always a good idea too. Hey, thanks for the call tonight, Lou. Appreciate it. It's Free Talk Live.
She seems happier. Her fur is so much shinier, silkier, softer. She has really mellowed a lot.
Sheba is 105 lean pounds of shiny, smooth, happy dog for life.
The shedding has stopped. The itching has stopped.
Since 2001, we've helped more than 250,000 dogs get over their nutritional deficiency miseries.
And saved our customers bazillions in vet bills.
Everything we tried failed except the Dynovite.
Come to Dynovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
If you want the dog to be healthy, you got to feed it something healthy.
The omega-3 fatty acids.
Flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa.
The digestive enzymes that are cooked out of regular dog food.
Dynovite is nutrition.
Dynovite for life.
Don't let your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy.
Come to Dynovite for help.
859-428-1000.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
Have you heard of LibertyCon? LibertyCon is not only a convention with great speakers like Whole Foods CEO and co-founder John Mackey and Nobel Prize winner Vernon Smith, but it's also unique because you get a chance to network with more than 70 pro-liberty organizations, one-on-one for the purpose of career advancement, business, and internship opportunities. April 3rd through 5th in Washington, D.C. You can learn more by visiting LibertyCon.com and use code FTL for a $10 discount on your registration. That's LibertyCon.com. I want to tell you about my favorite cryptocurrency wallet, Edge Wallet, at edge.app. Edge is the wallet I use more than any other, and that was true long before Edge Wallet became a sponsor of Free Talk Live. Edge Wallet allows you to buy, sell, trade, and securely hold your cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, tokens, Monero, Ripple, Dash, Bitcoin Cash, and more. It's available for both Android and iOS, and you can download it via the Play or App Store or via Edge Wallet's website, edge.app. Secure your freedom with Edge Wallet. Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer-term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live. The toll-free number for you, 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Coming up here tonight, some in the UK Labour Party would like to abolish private education, apparently entirely. We can talk about that. Plus, Uber facing a $650 million fine from the state of New Jersey. We'll explain what's going on there. You can bring up what you want as well, although we started out talking about, Mark, your trip to Cuba, which you spent the last week, roughly, down there. First time ever for you. First time for a lot of people, because most people have never been to Cuba before, but it's apparently now possible. You can fly directly from the United States to Havana.
Took a Southwest flight for roughly an hour and 20 minutes.
How much was it?
I don't have the number, but I think it was...
Can't be much, right, for an hour-long flight?
Yeah, I don't...
A couple $100?
I think it was a couple $100.
Yeah. Round trip?
The Southwest, so I don't know. I've got to look. I didn't buy the tickets. My wife bought the tickets.
That's right. You don't do that stuff.
She if I buy the tickets, she's going to be certain to tell me that I didn't do as good of a job as I could.
Probably wouldn't have either.
She's probably right.
Did she like it? Did she like it? Did she have a good time in Cuba?
Oh, yeah, she thought it was great. She was finally warm.
Yeah. No kidding.
Yeah.
So we can talk more about that. How about cryptocurrency in Cuba? Did you see any Bitcoin vending machines or
no,
Bitcoin?
Nothing. There's nothing.
Nothing at all. Huh?
Probably the only experience I had with crypto was a cryptocurrency group I'd attempted to join
in Cuba.
Beforehand.
Okay.
On Telegram.
For Cuba or just
yes,
some?
Like Cuba Bitcoin or something.
Cool. So you didn't get a chance to use your Edge wallet while you were in Cuba.
I did not.
Edge wallet, of course, a longtime supporter here at Free Talk Live. Big fan of what they do. I use Edge wallet more than any other cryptocurrency wallet. I just bought my dinner tonight with that before I came here. You can go to edge.app to learn more about the Edge wallet. It allows you to buy, sell, trade, and securely hold various cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin BTC, Monero, Ripple, Stellar, Ravencoin, Ethereum, various Ethereum tokens, Bitcoin Cash, and Dash, and more. They're a veteran team. They've been building apps like Edge since 2014. You can secure your freedom on both iOS and Android devices with Edge Wallet. Edge.app is their website, or just go to your Google or Apple App Store and download Edge Wallet and get started in the world of cryptocurrency. We've been talking about some of the reforms that have been put into place in Cuba. It sounds like there's some amount of a marketplace there now, with apparently farmers being allowed to actually lease land and decide, at least somewhat, what crops to put on that land. They still have to accept certain mandates by the government, but for some of the land, they can make it their own decisions about that.
I'd say this about Havana and my experience going there is from an architectural standpoint, it is, it's in the top league as far as architecture.
Even though a bunch of buildings were crumbling down?
Yep. There's gorgeous buildings that are falling down in Cuba. And UNESCO has addressed that to some extent.
What's that? UNESCO?
UNESCO.
Oh, the UN?
The UN. In that they're trying to, they call it a World Heritage Site or whatever, and they're trying to fund renovation of some of these buildings, and all that's all well and good. But
no, it's not.
If you go there,
the UN is not all well and good. They are a mega world governmental organization that is probably taking money by force from people and then funding Cuba.
Well, they're taking money that was taken by force.
Right.
So they're
taking money that has been extracted through taxation, and then they're using it to give to other countries' governments.
So are most of the people listening to the show. They're accepting money that was taken by taxation. Whether they're taking Social
That doesn't
Security,
make it okay.
I'm not.
Doesn't make it okay.
They're not the bad people, though.
UN is definitely some bad people. Their blue helmet guys are like raping girls and stuff like that.
The UN security forces and what they have done is different than what you were just talking about, which is money taken through taxation. If an armed robber comes through town and steals money from people and then goes out to Central Square and hands out $10 bills, accepting a $10 bill does not make you a bad person.
Yeah, well, having a mega world government is a bad thing. So the UN sucks.
I understand. I don't like centralization anymore.
If you want somebody to help
you
rebuild your buildings, then voluntarily fund the money.
Well, and if you took the UNESCO money, I'm not going to call you a bad person. There's probably some things that are going to go along with it.
Most of the people taking the UNESCO money are governments, which makes them bad people. Because they use violence against peaceful people. That's what governments do.
Well, that doesn't make them bad people because they took the money. It makes them bad people because they use violence to take money from people.
That's right. Yeah. Toll-free number tonight, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. So, no, it's not all well and good for money to be forcibly redistributed, even if it's going to make a nice, pretty building.
If you want to go see really cool architecture, you should look at places like Havana and Rome.
Did you go outside of Havana at all, or just stay there?
Not outside of the state of Havana, but outside the city of Havana. Yes.
According to Reuters, some of the other reforms that have been put in place in Cuba in the last decade include regulations around small businesses that were liberalized earlier in the decade as part of an effort to cut bloated state payrolls. Entrepreneurs were still categorized as self-employed rather than as business owners. However, they've been authorized for the first time since 1968 to, get this, hire people who are not in their family. So you've never, until this decade in Cuba, as an entrepreneur, been able to hire anyone except for your own kids or grandma or whatever. Simultaneously, the state began shedding small service outlets such as barbershops and snack shops in favor of arrangements where employees would lease the premises. A pilot program authorizing non-agricultural cooperatives began in 2013. So employee-owned businesses are now a thing in Cuba.
Co-ops are often successful, especially if there was an established business in place. So if, for instance, some guy comes in, builds a factory that makes widgets, and then
turns it over to the employees,
he turns
sells
it over.
to them
His son's a bum, and he doesn't want to turn it over to the son. Nobody wants to buy the widget factory, so he's like, "Hey guys," or he puts it up for sale, and the employees say, "We're going to pull the money so that we're going to be in charge." Those kind of co-ops often work quite well. There are some glaring examples of co-ops that have been disastrous. Usually, restaurants are often very good examples of.
Well, it's hard. There's a lot of competition in the restaurant business. Let's talk to Julian. He's in North Carolina. You're on Free Talk Live, watching on YouTube.
Hey, man.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm all right.
Doesn't sound like it. I think we're going to have to let you go, man. You need to get it together. Toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. I mean, I feel bad for somebody that's got a stuttering problem, but it's just not going to work for the radio. So we'll take calls from anyone, but you got to be able to spit it out. 855-450-FREE is our toll-free number. There are 580,000 self-employed license holders now in Cuba, including cab drivers, tradesmen, and the employees of thousands of private eateries, bed and breakfasts, construction contractors.
By the way, these the taxi cabs, there's several tiers of licenses.
Was Uber there?
Not that I noticed.
Okay.
But you don't really need an Uber there. Everything's fine. As far as taking cabs go, you can negotiate right on the side of the street. But some people, plenty of people are operating taxi cabs without getting any kind of permission.
Sweet. Jitney cabs.
Yeah, pretty much.
I love those. 855-450-FREE. Did you ride in some
counted.
of them?
Oh, yeah.
Sweet.
Well, it's like a classic car show all over that island. It's amazing.
There's just a ton of old cars because of communism, right? And all whatever restrictions they put on importing cars for however many decades they did that.
And the blockade.
Yep. 855-450-FREE.
Anarchapulco is the world's foremost conference for voluntarist thinkers and activists, held in beautiful Acapulco, Mexico. Share ideas on how to live free and escape the clutches of the state. Their unparalleled lineup of speakers will discuss entrepreneurship, investments, politics, philosophy, health, sustainability, lifestyles, and personal relationships. Stay in a world-class resort and enjoy the sun and beaches. February the 13th through the 16th. Visit anarchapulco.com for early bird pricing and 10% off with coupon code FTL.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing. To be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project early movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveatpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveatpurse.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com.
Because we are smothering in spam, please do not reply to all when you can instead reply. I was recently among over 100 invited to a corporate reunion. It's always a warm affair, and that's the problem. Enthusiasm for our upcoming get-together caused many recipients to RSVP the organizer with a cheery reply to all. I can't wait. Then others piled on with a reply to all to that. Then the "I'm out of my office now" autoresponders joined in. So I replied to all, asking that we all reply only to the organizer. Hey, at least I tried. One invitee, apparently retired, shot back, "Point taken, but I really like seeing the responses since they're so positive." Smiley face. This better be an open bar. From survivalspeech.com, I'm Holland Cook.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live, and this is the live Saturday edition. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Tonight, it's Ian.
And Mark.
LibertyCon is coming up April 3rd through the 5th in Washington, D.C. I have not been familiar with this conference. It's the first time I've ever heard about it this year. Do you know if they've had these things in previous years, or is this going to be the first?
I don't know their setup. I can do an interview with the guy who's setting it up.
Yeah,
but,
just curious. It sounds like it's going to be a big deal because
it is a big deal, and y'all is a big deal. Young Americans for Liberty.
They're the ones putting it on.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, check out libertycon.com. I expect we're going to be broadcasting. Is that right, from this event?
Yeah.
So we will look forward to seeing you April 3rd through the 5th in Washington, D.C. And yeah, I know it's an icky place to go, but you're going to want to attend this thing because there are going to be 70 pro-liberty organizations there. And so perhaps you want to advance your career or, maybe work out some new business or internship opportunities. This is going to be a great networking event. And there are going to be some great speakers there as well. John Mackey, the Whole Foods CEO and co-founder, will speak on conscious capitalism. Vernon Smith, who won the Nobel Prize in economics, will be speaking on alternative markets. Miriam Issa, pop culture expert, political commentator with over 300 million YouTube views. She'll be there. Plus Nassim Nicholas Taleb, who spent 21 years as a risk taker before becoming a researcher in philosophical, mathematical, and practical problems with probability. You can learn more over at libertycon.com and get more information on the additional speakers and the events that are happening. Code FTL will get you a $10 discount on your registration, which, as you mentioned, Mark, is already pretty affordable. I'm looking right now, adult ticket for $79. I mean, that's for a conference. They might be losing money on that. I mean,
multiple day, right?
That's really affordable. I'm shocked at how affordable that is. But you can knock $10 more off of that by using code FTL. Plus, student travel scholarships are available. So if you're a student, they really want you to attend this thing. They may even help you travel there in order to do it. Of course, discounted rooms available for everybody at the official hotel, which is the Marriott Marquis. Go and get yourself early bird registration because prices will be going up in several weeks. So at the end of this year, prices are going to go up. So go to libertycon.com and mark your calendar for April 3rd through the 5th in 2020. We'll look forward to seeing you there as we go to your phone calls and thoughts. We've been talking about some of the interesting market-oriented reforms that are happening in Cuba. This is you just got back from there, Mark, your first time visiting Cuba. You had a good time. Spent about a week.
It's pretty cool.
About a week there with the family. Let's go to Corey on the line in Des Moines, watching on YouTube. Hello, Corey.
Have you really been far? Even as decided to use, even want to go look more like?
Huh?
Please call free at 1-855-673-5185.
Okay, these are pretty bad pranks tonight. I'm just going to say I don't even understand what words were coming out of his mouth. Did that make sense to you, Mark? Because it sounded like gobbledygook to me.
It sounded like he was trying to be a robocall or something.
Yeah, but it wasn't making sense. Like there was no actual sense to the words that were coming out. So 855 450 free as we continue. You can bring up absolutely anything that you want. Back to the story here from Reuters about some of the reforms, and then coming up we'll tell you about what's going on with Uber under a $650 million fine by the state of New Jersey. The government apparently in Cuba has begun reorganizing and merging thousands of companies in 2011, even as it moved them out of the direct control of government ministries. So all these companies were government run before. The government aimed to make the companies more autonomous and competitive. It said it would regulate and tax these businesses now instead of manage them.
Right, and this is one of the rules that the United States government has for U.S. citizens who are going over there, is they must you can go under the mandate of helping the Cuban people, which means that you aren't allowed to go eat at government restaurants.
Really?
You're not supposed to. And
how do you determine whether it's a government restaurant or not?
It's nearly impossible.
To find a government restaurant?
If it's upstairs, it's likely not a government restaurant. It's
Really?
likely a palador, is what they call it.
Okay.
But if it's on the ground floor, then it probably is, or something.
Well, you would think that government restaurants would be put out of business if they actually are subject to real competition.
Well, if they have the superior real estate, then they're going to be...
That helps.
Yeah.
Location, right?
Yeah. So also they've got the legacy people coming there. You know, people have been going to that restaurant to eat for some time, and yeah, I mean.
So is there a set of rules? You said there's rules for people going over there?
Yeah, basically the rules for Americans.
Where do you get them?
Yeah, well,
they give them to you on the flight over? It's like, all right, here you go?
No, I think it was online. My wife looked all this stuff up. You know, I wasn't going to pay any attention because it's stupid. Here's the reason. If I go to a government restaurant, the government gets some of the money. Obviously, they need to, some of the money is going to go to pay for
the staff,
the making the dough and the pizza and the tomatoes for the tomato sauce and the sausage and all the other things that go in the pizza. Some of it's going to go for paychecks and all these things that go into it. And the government keeps some percentage. We call that profit in a more capitalist society, and whatever they might call it in a communist society, a filthy sin. I'm not sure. So the government keeps that. Mm-hmm. In a palador, which is these private restaurants, you go there, and the government takes a small percentage in the form of taxation.
Sure, they're going to get their cut either way.
So what difference does it really make?
It doesn't. Yeah. There have been numerous adjustments to regulations aimed at giving these companies, which account for some 70% of Cuba's economic activity, more authority over day-to-day operations, as well as how they can handle excess production after meeting their production quotas and after-tax profit. However, the government still exercises strict control through levers such as centralized planning and a monopoly on foreign trade. The government authorized the buying and selling of homes and cars in 2011. After a ban that dated back from after the 1959 revolution.
And I'm sure the cars were getting bought and sold then too. I mean...
You mean like illegally? Transferring ownership somehow?
Yeah, transferring ownership in some way. Just because somebody isn't holding title for you doesn't mean that you can't own a car.
Owners were also authorized to rent their premises. However, citizens remain restricted to ownership of one home and a vacation home, and the sale of new cars, which are all imported, remains in state hands at a markup on average 800% of the factory price. So you can sell your car used, can't create a new car dealership, but you can also buy a house and sell your house, which has never been in decades allowed in Cuba. So maybe that's why you were able to get, I think you said you were in an Airbnb, right?
Right.
So because you can now rent your premises, now Airbnb is available in Cuba. It's an amazing thing.
It was a slightly more than $100 for a week.
Wow, what a deal.
You could live...
Was it a nice place?
It was fine.
Yeah.
You could live quite comfortably in Cuba on a $10,000 a year.
Wow.
You can't say that about anywhere in America.
Yeah, but what's the immigration restrictions like there?
Best I can tell, if you want to go to Cuba, you can go to Cuba.
Really?
Yeah.
They want the gringos coming in?
Well,
was everybody pretty friendly? I mean, to you?
Yeah, it was really great. Here's a good story. I was leaving, and I was in the line to sort of go through the, checking your paperwork and your passport and stuff like that. I ended up in the line that was, going into the one booth that was reserved for diplomats.
They told you to go there, is what you told me up there.
Right. It said above it, Diplomaticos or whatever. So I go in and I say, well, I'm not a diplomat. I say this in Spanish, which makes it slightly funnier because I can barely speak the language, right?
You're pretty good.
Well, not to a native speaker.
Okay, yeah.
Right. So I'm not a diplomat, but I am Intergalactic Space King. And so she looks up, this is a boring job, right? Everybody going through here is all terrified of the government.
El Rey Intergaláctico.
Soy el Rey Intergaláctico. And de Espacio. And she looked up and she said, "You're a bad boy," in English. I'm like, that was just so exciting to me to get called a bad boy. So she wanted to chat for a minute or whatever, and we chatted, but I had to go,
Yeah.
So
you would say they're airline, or not airline, but airport security more friendly than TSA?
I don't know. I met one of them, and they were great.
They pat you down? I mean, was there any of that kind of stuff?
Honestly, the process of going through their airport security was better than the TSA, in my opinion.
Interesting. 855-450-FREE. Do you have to take off your belt, your shoes?
Nope.
855-450-3733. You can bring up what you want. Have you been to Cuba in the last several years? It's Free Talk Live.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Hey guys, it's Sue Cosner, your favorite sexual health expert, with another version of Ask the Pro. This month, I got a letter from Sandy in Seattle about an explosive bedroom secret she and her husband recently discovered. She writes, "Dear Sue, my husband and I used to have a great life in the bedroom, but in the last few years, he has struggled. He's tried about everything, but nothing has worked. Then one day he came home and gave me a night I will never forget. He told me about this secret formula, Noxatril, that changed our life in the bedroom once and for all." Wow, Sandy, you beat me to it. I recommend Noxatril to every guy that struggles in the bedroom. It's the only one. Noxatril is all natural and works to increase blood flow fast. It's like that little blue pill on steroids. Noxatril has a special free bottle offer, shipped discreetly to your door.
To find out how to get your bottle of Noxatril, call 800-421-0954. 800-421-0954. Get your free bottle for a limited time. Call now. 800-421-0954. 800-421-0954.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
Free Talk Live.
And I still swore to the Commander-in-Chief.
What oath is higher?
I'm not going
to
to
you?
stand up and go AWOL because, I don't believe.
Well, wait, nobody said you had to go AWOL. Did you swear 2 oaths, one to the Commander-in-Chief and then one to the Constitution?
You swear one to the Constitution as your Commander-in-Chief as your executive order.
Which part of the oath is a priority? Is it upholding the Constitution? Well, so whatever the Commander-in-Chief says is what goes. It
that
doesn't
sounds like
matter,
a cult of personality to me.
It doesn't matter if it's unconstitutional.
This is a nation of laws, supposedly, I was told, and since the Constitution's the highest law in the land, if the Commander-in-Chief violates that piece of paper, then you should, as a person who swore an oath to that Constitution, go in there and arrest him.
Okay, well, you're making sense.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live, inviting you to join us here. The toll-free number 855-450-FREE. Coming up, should private schools be abolished? That is a question that apparently they're looking at in the UK. Mark, you've got that story. That's on the way here tonight. Your calls and thoughts also welcome. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. We're sharing some of the interesting economic and freedom-oriented reforms that have been put into place in Cuba in the last decade, and apparently it's making a difference out there, which shouldn't be a surprise to anybody that understands why the free market is much more effective at creating wealth and eliminating poverty than, of course, any kind of government wealth redistribution or forced, welfare programs. So our toll-free number, if you want to join us here, is 855-450-FREE. We have the Discord call-in line rooms open for you over at discord.lrn.fm. As we go to your phone calls and thoughts, David in New Mexico, you're on Free Talk Live. Hello, David.
Hey, Ian, who's the old homeless guy in the studio there with the suit jacket on?
What makes me homeless for having a suit jacket on?
It's Mark. It's Mark. I recognize that voice.
I shaved.
They let you out of Gitmo. They let you out of Gitmo already? How'd you get out of that place?
I never got to see Gitmo, but I would be very interested in seeing it. I hear it has the only McDonald's on the island of Cuba.
Really?
Ah, cool.
What were you calling about?
Yeah, when I was a kid, I was calling about William Barr coming to the state of New Mexico, listening here on KENN in the heart of the Navajo Nation.
William Barr. Now that's the Attorney General. Is that right?
Yeah, the Jewish guy that's the current Attorney General. He came to the state of New Mexico. There's a funny story about it though.
Okay.
This University of New Mexico, KUNM, the radio station that wants me to go to prison for 3 years for calling in to their talk program. Anyway, so I'm dealing with that court case in the Metro Court those three cases in the Metro Court in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and I'm doing some case management stuff. So I'm on the phone one day multiple days for multiple hours talking to court administrators in the Metro Court, and I discover a bunch of surprise, negligence and possible malice on the part of court staff and including judges. And so one of the things that I say to the court administrator in the Metro Court in Albuquerque, New Mexico, is that, you know what, it looks like we're getting close to the point where the Department of Justice might just be interested in coming in and taking control of the New Mexico courts, just like they've come into the state of New Mexico and taken control of Albuquerque Police Department because of
corruption,
a pattern and practice. Corruption and a pattern and practice of due process violations, civil rights violations. And that was 2 weeks ago that I made that statement on the record to this court administrator in the Metro Court. And then a week after that, guess who shows up in the state of New Mexico? Bill Barr, Attorney General, representing Department of Justice and the Trump administration. And guess what he says? He has a public press conference, and he says that the the state of New Mexico is just not up to par in its courts. In other words, its courts are negligent and possibly malicious, and the feds want to assist the state of New Mexico, just like the DOJ is assisting the Albuquerque Police Department and not beating the crap out of people and stuff like that, and shooting down homeless campers. That's a good video to watch. If you go on YouTube, you can see a homeless guy who's camping up on the barren mountainside, and it looks just like a firing squad. You got like 6 cops on one side.
That's an old one, right? That's a few years old now, right?
Yeah, but that's kind of thing that brought the DOJ in here. So anyway, the irony of the thing is that the very thing that I said to the court administrator that the DOJ might want to come in and take control, a week later the bar shows up and says that exact same thing, that they want control of some of the job duties of the New Mexico courts, which I was criticizing because the New Mexico courts are not up to snuff.
Yeah, they're supposedly one of the more corrupted of the court systems out there, but I don't know if handing them over to the federal government is going to make anything better about them. Thank you for the call tonight, David. The toll-free number here tonight is 855-450-FREE. I mean,
what could make them worse, though?
You think, what's the question? What could or it could? I'm sorry, I missed what you said.
What could?
Yeah, I have no idea. I mean, they're governments, so I mean, governments tend to really suck at pretty much everything they do.
Yeah, but they don't suck equally.
No, you can compare the 50 governments and find out which ones suck the most and which ones suck the least.
Right. So I would think that if the feds came in, it might be, if New Mexico's judicial system stinks, and as David says, that it might be a step up.
The toll-free number, if you want to join us here, 855-450-FREE, like freedom. As they're finding out in Cuba, things get better when central governments let go of control and allow people to make decisions for themselves. Of course,
here's one that would work real well. If all governments got out of civil cases and just let arbitrators handle that stuff.
Professional, private organizations.
Right.
Like the American Arbitration Association and whatever the other ones are.
They're going to get much better results.
Yeah, absolutely.
In competition.
And huge savings, too, on price.
Right.
Because then you'd actually, like you said, competition would bring price down. It would bring speed of trial up. You wouldn't have to be waiting years, to get a hearing or whatever. That would be a good step in the right direction. Also, of course, reducing all of the prohibitions out there, like, as far as criminal trials are concerned.
Sure, you could probably, over time, relatively quickly, eliminate 80% of crime. It's just me spitballing here with a number, but it's not like I haven't, looked into this. And when you look at not just drug crimes and prostitution and
gambling,
guns and all the stuff that we're talking about here, but
possession of guns,
crimes without a victim.
Yeah,
there are some crimes with a victim that are done for the purpose of gaining money for drugs
like
or gambling.
Breaking and entering or robbing a convenience store or something like that.
Sure. And certainly there will be still convenience stores that are robbed and people's houses and businesses will get broken into. It'll just happen less often if heroin doesn't cost whatever, $10 a dose. I don't know. I've heard that number. It's probably old as hell.
Let's go to Scott. He's listening in Florida to WNDB in Daytona Beach. Hello, Scott.
Hi there.
Hey.
Just new to your program and enjoy it so far.
Welcome, sir. Go ahead.
But I was a little bit upset with Mr. Albuquerque there, or I don't know if upset's the right word, but I don't understand why it was relevant in his opinion that Attorney General Barr is Jewish and why that was relevant to mention.
He may be a racist. I'm not sure.
He's mentioned that several times. He's also mentioned that he's part Jewish, which I suppose...
Maybe he's a self-hating Jew. I don't know.
He thinks that gives him a pass. I'm not sure entirely. I also am a part Jewish. I don't particularly care, and I've heard it 100 times, so I would agree with you. What's the point in mentioning that?
No, I was just wondering, I'm trying to find out what kind of radio station, show I'm listening to.
Sure.
So far, I like it. I'm a libertarian by thought, and I like people not getting involved in my life. My local government's always getting involved in my crap, and I don't particularly appreciate it. And I'm glad to find a voice for that.
Yeah, I appreciate you calling in to clarify.
Who I'm dealing with.
Yeah, I appreciate you calling in to clarify because I've heard it so many times that I don't point it out.
Well, Free Talk Live is an open phones show. It's hosted by libertarian types, and so any a-hole can call into this show,
Yeah, no, I'm enjoying the show so far, and if it matters, and it doesn't matter to me one bit, but Barr is actually Catholic now, but more power to him, whatever.
Yeah, Barr didn't sound like a Jewish name to me. What do I know?
Apparently he was born Jewish, but who cares?
Okay.
I did a little Google search before I called you.
Yeah, ultimately, the religious beliefs of any of these thugs in D.C. are completely immaterial to me because they are all people who want to use the violence of the state to enforce their will on all of us. So I really don't care what they claim about their beliefs in God.
In this conversation, that Jewish is not just a religion, it's also an ethnicity.
Sure. But we were talking about Catholicism, and that's definitely a religion.
That's what the caller talked about.
Right.
But I'm sure that if were David on the line right now, he would be pointing out that ethnicity is an issue.
Well, it's not an issue to me either. I don't care whether they're Jewish or they're black or they're white or whatever the color of their skin is either. If they're in government, they are my enemy because they want to hurt peaceful people. They want to use violence. They want to force their way on all of those of us who would rather just be left alone.
I don't want enemies.
Screw them. Well, I don't want enemies either, but the government is not my friend, and the government is not your friend either. They're not out there to help you. Despite whatever it is that they claim, they're not there for your benefit. They're there for their benefit, and they will use you, and they will use you up, and they will use your family, and they'll use your business, and they will take whatever they can get away with taking from you, as long as, you keep giving it to them. Anything else, Scott, you want to share?
No, I'm just thinking about what Reagan said, which was something along the lines of, I'm from the government, I'm here to help. That would be the scariest words you ever hear.
Yeah,
too bad he then increased the size of government dramatically while he was in office.
Presided over it. He didn't increase it.
Did he sign the bills?
He's not a king.
Did he sign the bills?
Some of them.
Then he did it. Thanks for the call, Scott. I appreciate it. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. If he didn't veto everything that was put in front of him, unless, of course, the bill was to actually reduce the size of government, which that didn't happen during his administration.
He did get shot, too.
There's more coming up here. Does that make it so he's a statist once he gets shot? More on the way. It's Free Talk Live.
Balance of nature. Changing the world, one life at a time.
I've always been high energy, just going. And I turned 40 last November, and I was tired all the time. Now, taking the balance of nature, I just feel good. I have energy when I get home to still wrestle with my kids and do the honeydews at home. It's nice. I can tell that it just restored me to feeling normal, which is great.
Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. Call or go online now and become a preferred customer, which gives you our best pricing and free shipping. And we'll take off an additional $25 on your first order. This will be a limited time offer, so don't wait. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code FTL.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you're helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,468, silver at $16.97, and Bitcoin is trading around $8,447. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high-availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at InnoScale.net. In the news, it's an open secret. The deep state is working hand-in-hand with Silicon Valley social media giants like Twitter, Facebook, and Google to control the flow of information. Mid-press news reports that include suppressing, censoring, and sometimes outright purging dissenting voices, all under the guise of fighting fake news and Russian propaganda. Most recently, it was revealed that Twitter's senior editorial executive for Europe, the Middle East, and Africa is an active officer of the British Army's 77th Brigade, a unit dedicated to online warfare and psychological operations. In other words, he specializes in disseminating propaganda. The news left many wondering how a member of the British Armed Forces secured such an influential job in the media. The bombshell that one of the world's most influential social networks is controlled in part by an active psychological warfare officer was not covered at all in the New York Times, CNN, CNBC, MSNBC, or Fox News, who appear to have found the news unremarkable. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. New legislation will throw people in jail for disrespecting cops. That comes in a report from Activist Post. The new legislation is quickly passing through the legal process in New York. If you annoy a police officer in upstate New York, you could find yourself facing massive fines and even jail time. In a vote this week, lawmakers in the Monroe County Legislature passed a proposal in a 17-10 vote to fine and/or jail a person who annoys, alarms, or threatens the personal safety of an officer. The jail sentence is up to 1 year, and the fine is up to $5,000. According to the legislation, the anti-disrespecting applies to all first responders, not just police. Advocates for the tyranny claim that it looks after those who look out for us, because people need to be jailed if they talk back to a cop. Precious metals are quietly attempting a recovery. Bulls still have some work to do to repair the technical damage inflicted on both metals during last week's selling. Gold and silver still face some overhead resistance and the potential for concentrated short selling by financial institutions in the futures markets. Activist Post reports futures market manipulation of precious metals prices remains an obstacle for free and fair price discovery. Despite some recent prosecutions involving price rigging by banks, the Gold Antitrust Action Committee believes the rabbit hole goes much deeper. The committee this week reported that U.S. Representative Alex Mooney of West Virginia is pushing Attorney General Bill Barr to pursue additional investigations of price rigging in the futures markets. Mooney raises concern in particular about a mechanism for settling metals contracts called exchange for physicals. He notes it may pose some danger of a systemic issue. Both Mooney and the GATA have repeatedly raised questions with the Commodity Futures Trading Commission that have gone unanswered. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
A heroic broken sewage pipe floods Congress with waste. Johnson & Johnson introduces new leave-in Q-tips. This Thursday, local youth Andrew Robillard told reporters he had no idea why he couldn't wear his Iron Man costume to his grandfather's funeral. Robillard, whose grandfather passed away this week after complications from a stroke, vented his frustration to reporters and noted that his grandpa, quote, probably wouldn't even care if he dressed like Iron Man at the funeral.
Iron Man is awesome. I want to wear my Iron Man suit. I am
Grandma, you're a man.
And in tech news, a news website refers to its users' ceaseless exchange of racial slurs as a discussion. In other news, Guinness World Records promotes the man who can lift 27 pounds with his tongue to editor-in-chief. Thursday's cry is moved up to Wednesday due to a scheduling conflict, and a family watches in silence as Dad checks out the waitress.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live. You can bring up what you want here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We've got the Discord call-in line rooms. They're open and available to you over at discord.lrn.fm. So hop into any one of those, and we'll get you on the air here with us. Tonight, it's Ian.
And Mark.
So we're going to continue with a little bit of more international news. We were talking about Cuba. You had visited there, Mark, for the first time in your life just within the last week or so. And we're going a little further overseas now to the UK, where there's a story about potential abolishment of private education, and that's what you wanted to share with us tonight.
Yeah. Now, this isn't something that came up on their, as far as their legislature goes. This was voted on by a party, right? So it's
like as part of their platform.
Yeah, it's a platform situation, not a law. And I want to make it abundantly clear that that's the case, because somebody might misinterpret what's being said here.
Okay.
But there's some parallels that can be drawn between their political parties and ours. They're certainly not the same. But Labor, run by Jeremy Corbyn, who, popular guy, and there's some things about him that I think are pretty cool. They recently voted in a platform point. So it passed a motion to abolish private schools at its party conference. Should Labor gain a majority in the election, and that looks like it could be happening in the coming months, a sea change in British education system is looming.
And the guy in charge of this is cool. Why?
Why do I like him?
Yeah.
He's more into localized government than global government, and that's cool.
Okay.
Well, don't you like more localized government?
Doesn't sound like he's in favor of localized government if he wants to get rid of private schools.
Okay, I don't know how the two are related.
Well, private schools are more local and more responsible than government schools. So you're talking about more centralized authority. Get rid of that.
He is a statist.
Yeah.
Certainly.
Yeah, I don't find those people cool at all.
Well, you advocate for more power going to localized governments.
No, I don't. I advocate for power to the individual. I want to abolish the state entirely.
Yeah, but you advocate for states over federal government all the time.
Sure. If you can decentralize power, it's generally a good thing. But here in New Hampshire, I actually would not advocate for local governments to have more power, because in New Hampshire, it's no home rule state. And there would be a lot more rules here in Keene, New Hampshire, if it weren't for the state legislature keeping these guys in line. So
the lefties would love to pass some more rules here in the cesspool of socialism in southwest New Hampshire.
So while, yes, it is generally good to get away from centralized power, that's only a good thing if the people who are against centralized power are in a relatively concentrated area, like we're trying to have happen here in New Hampshire. Otherwise, you have little fiefdoms in towns and cities.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm against all centralization of power generally. As long as it's done without consent of people, I'm against it.
Well, I did not start to read this article in order to defend Jeremy Corbyn to you, because
called him cool. I just wanted to know why you thought a politician was cool.
I said there were some things about him that I liked.
See. Okay.
And there's always some things in a platform that I'm going to agree with. And I like the idea of more local, of moving government power closer to you rather than farther away, because I think you'll have more of an effect.
So is this the party? Did they vote for seceding from the UK, or not UK, European Union?
No, this is the party generally, but not Corbyn necessarily. He's put in a difficult position generally for remaining in the EU.
Well, that doesn't sound like they're in favor of decentralizing power.
I'm not talking about the party. I'm talking about the guy.
The one guy. Oh, okay. I thought he was in charge of the party or something.
He is. but you know, all of his platform isn't labor. He's not God King of the labor movement in
I see.
Great Britain.
So his views don't reflect the party's views generally.
Not necessarily on everything, and it can be a contentious issue. The statists in the Labor Party will generally take their power where they can get it, whether they can get it on an international, national, or local level. So they're expeditious in the same way that you are in trying to wrest power from statists. You'll take it whether you can get it locally or internationally. No, take it away from them in whatever way you can. They will do the same to take it. So going on with the point of the article. And for some context, around 2,500 independent schools educate around 7%. That's about half of the number in the United States of Britain's students, more than 600,000 in total. Under Labor's proposal, these schools' charitable status would be revoked, and their land and assets would be seized.
Yikes!
And redistributed. These schools and pupils that attend them would be integrated into the state system. And
I wonder if they have homeschool.
Forbes, by the way.
Do you think they have homeschool there?
I'll bet that the United States has one of the most robust homeschooling situations in the world. I know it's outlawed in Germany.
Wow.
So, most of the world is most of European countries are more statist than the United States, and statists like their state-run system. The idea that you're going to turn over the education of kids to the government and that's going to go well, at this point, should have been refuted, but it hasn't been. For whatever reason, people know that you're going to get a better education if you send your kid to private school, but they think that that's just so expensive. What they don't realize is in a lot of cases, the amount that you're spending in taxes to send your kid to school could be spent simply, or sending kids to school. Your portion of just school tax in general could be spent to send your kid to school. And if you didn't have any kids, you wouldn't have to spend it at all.
According to the HSLDA, is that the Homeschool Legal Defense Association? I'm guessing. I don't know what that stands for. They say that there are homeschooling options in the UK. It's legal in England and Wales under the 1944 Education Act. Efficient full-time education suitable to age, ability, and aptitude. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, families can legally homeschool. There are no requirements to inform the authorities when one is home educating, unless the student was previously enrolled in the government school system. So don't make the mistake. If you're in the UK and you're going to have kids, don't make the mistake of enrolling your kids in the government schools. Otherwise, they're going to want to know about them. And if you take them out, they're going to want to know about curriculum and things like that. But otherwise, you don't have to tell them anything, which that's pretty good.
Yeah, if you...
Of course, I'm going to guess that the Labor Party is also against homeschooling if they're against private schools. That's I'm going out on a limb there with...
I would say that's probably true.
Yeah.
Because at their heart, statists like the control that government school gives them.
It's indoctrination camp. They want to indoctrinate the students with statist beliefs.
Right. And I know that there are people out there that, I understand why people defend teachers. Well, teachers and this and teachers that. Well, they have teachers at private schools. And they do their job in many cases.
Better teachers.
For less.
Yeah.
And they do, well, from an effect standpoint, from a result standpoint, they do a better job. Now, they don't face the same challenges, but they face other challenges. And, this is one of the problems with working for the government is that generally they will take any job, any passion, any love of your life, and they'll destroy it. And, it stinks, but that's what they do. And the idea that every kid is going to be served well by this one institution that is so resistant to change is ridiculous.
Yeah, kids know school sucks. They know it.
Right.
They all say it.
If I will say this, that if there's one educational system that probably works better, it's the Montessori method. But
no, okay, what does that mean?
The Montessori method basically means that they let kids do what they want, they give guidance, they suggest things, but...
how is that different from Sudbury?
Sudbury is a democratic school where kids will vote on what they're going to do. But Sudbury, the democratic school movement, there was a whole bunch of stuff that started in the...
That's not how I heard about it. I heard
century.
from a couple guys that went to Sudbury that it sounds like it's like Montessori, where the kids can direct their own education. What they vote on is running the school itself. So, like, do you want to, hire this janitor? Do you want to have somebody come in and teach you karate or whatever? Like, they can still kind of run the school. They can hire and fire the people, the experts or whatever that they have coming in to teach them different things. It's kind of an interesting concept. More coming up here in moments. You can join us. It's Free Talk Live.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynavite for help. Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite. Pick up 2 bottles of Lico Chops, get the 3rd bottle free. New improved Lico Chops with Omega-6, Omega-3, Vitamin E, and now 6 extra direct-fed microbials. Even better for the digestive tract and immune system. And dogs love it. Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free. This is Henry Lukasevic for Dynavite.
DINOVITE.com.
Anarchapulco is the world's foremost conference for voluntarist thinkers and activists, held in beautiful Acapulco, Mexico. Share ideas on how to live free and escape the clutches of the state. Their unparalleled lineup of speakers will discuss entrepreneurship, investments, politics, philosophy, health, sustainability, lifestyles, and personal relationships. Stay in a world-class resort and enjoy the sun and beaches. February the 13th through the 16th. Visit anarchapulco.com for early bird pricing and 10% off with coupon code FTL.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
Free Talk Live is now on more than 200 radio stations nationwide. We've had more than 18 million podcast downloads, and we claim millions of listens a month. We're a multimedia ad venue with print, email, web, and terrestrial radio marketing platforms. We strive to have ad packages that cater to advertisers big and small. Contact me today at marketfreetalklive.com to see what we can do for you. Marketfreetalklive.com. If you're a local advertiser, contact this station. But if you can service a national audience, contact me, marketfreetalklive.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. The LRN.FM's social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can bring up what you want here. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. We're talking about the potential in the UK, the scary idea of abolishing private education. That's what apparently one of the political parties there, the so-called Labour Party, has now added to their platform, which is the total abolishment of private schools. And not only abolishing, but basically seizing the private schools, seizing the land and the buildings, and, just taking it over,
the whole shebang,
doing whatever they want with it. So essentially nationalizing private schools. So sorry to any private school owners who've spent their lives and their fortunes trying to educate people and reinvest in your business. The state could just be coming along to take it all away from you. So that's what the proposal is on the table. If you want to comment, you're welcome to join us here. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. Plus, I want to make sure you know about local.bitcoin.com. It's where you can go to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash, and you can use dozens of payment methods. There are a lot of different options. Some of them are more risky than others. So if you're going to sell Bitcoin Cash on the site, make sure you do your due diligence first and do a little research into the methods you intend to use. Some are more reversible than others, and that is very high risk. So keep that in mind. If you're just buying, as long as you're buying from somebody that's got some trades under their belt, you're probably safe at local.bitcoin.com. So you don't have to worry about as much as a buyer. Local.bitcoin.com, and there are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site. Plus, all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. It is a global trading platform that actually respects your privacy. Good luck finding anything else like it. I've looked around. The other things that they're competing with, they all have Know Your Customer ID requirements that have gotten even more restrictive over the last year.
Right. If wherever you're, if you're not holding your own cryptocurrency, you're going to be dealing with Know Your Customer, KYC, compliance issues.
And they're awful.
Wherever it is, whatever organization is holding your cryptocurrency, you're going to deal with it.
Unless you go to local.bitcoin.com, because you hold your own Bitcoin Cash there in your own wallet that you control, not the website, which is very interesting. And they sell it, buy and sell using what they call smart contracts, without getting into further detail about that. But it works very well.
Correctamundo.
Yep. We go to your phone calls and thoughts. More from the UK. Mark, you got a little bit more on that on the way. Let's talk to John in Dover, Delaware, listening to WDOV. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, hi, fellas. My name is John, and I'm an addict. I smoke more weed than Puff the Magic. I burn so many brain cells that it is tragic.
Uh-huh.
What you guys think about my rap, yo?
Not bad. Did you actually write that?
No, I just wrote it now while I was talking to you guys. I wrote one about school real quick, too, since you guys were talking about school. It goes, I quit school because they had recess, no swing sets, no monkey balls, and no swing sets. What you think about that?
That's kind of weak.
It's going to have a little more to it.
It's kind of weak.
All right, so it's like this. I quit school because they had recess. I don't play. You get what I'm saying?
So you didn't like recess?
Well, that's the only part they liked about it, but I'm never playing. Therefore, I didn't like recess. I don't play.
I can tell you this. You play the radio.
I do play the radio quite often. Obviously, too often, being that I call you guys pretty much bi-weekly. You know what I mean?
Well, I will give you this. You are I'm not going to call it a crank call, but it's one of the better calls we've had tonight. But then again, the competition's been pretty shallow.
Live. I'm free talking with the fellas,
yes,
man.
You
I love
are.
the show. You know that.
I'm glad that you can put a sentence together, because two of our earlier callers couldn't even do that. John, thanks for the call. Appreciate it, man. Thanks. Toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. All right, so what else do we need to know about this Labour Party platform decision? This isn't it's not a law yet, but if they get in charge of the government there in the UK, then it very well could be. It'll be the end of private education.
Right. So the author here at Forbes, Mike, I think it's Mike McMeans here. Let me scroll up real quick. Mike McShane, excuse me. He says this is an illiberal power grab aimed at hurting people that Labor's far-left faction despise, even though, as it should be pointed out, prominent Labor leaders have had no issue sending their own children to independent schools in the past or attended such schools themselves. They think that too many people in power graduated from or sending their children to independent schools, thus they must be destroyed. It's crazy to have to say this in 2019, but forcibly...
So hold on, slow down. It's the people who are in power sending their kids to private schools that upsets the labor people?
Sure.
Okay.
Right. I mean, the whole idea, what they call public schools over in Great Britain, which are in fact private schools.
Really?
Yes. They're,
What do they call the government schools?
I don't know what the difference is, but I know that they call the elite private schools public schools.
Huh. Okay.
So the people that go to these schools tend to end up in power. In the same way in the United States, if you look at the top 50 high schools in America, you will find that a disproportionate amount of people went to Phillips Exeter or a variety of these others. I'm afraid I don't know them all, but they went to these schools. I know the Phillips Exeter, the number one school, high school in the country, because it's in New Hampshire. But they also have, I think, a Phillips Andover or something in Massachusetts.
Well, plus teachers are also known. Government school teachers are known for sending their kids to private schools as
That's right. At twice the rate of, more than twice the rate of the average parent, government school teachers send their kids to private schools. And it makes you wonder why. Why don't the cooks eat at that restaurant that they run?
Mm-hmm. They know something.
Presumably.
Yeah.
And
they know the educational experience is not optimal, and they're willing to pay more for it, for the optimal experience.
They consider education to be important, and they're willing to invest in it. Whereas, the rest of us are like, well, we got to make sure we buy the right house in the right neighborhood so that our kids can go to the right school. Well, you're right there. You're investing in your kids' education by paying for this, higher price house or whatever. So, I mean, there's other benefits to having the house in the nice neighborhood, but if you're looking at the school, then, well, you can see that you're making the investment there too. Just saying. Going on, it's crazy to have to say this in 2019, but forcibly confiscating the private property of institutions that have fallen out of political favor is wrong. It should send chills down all our spines. If folks are so concerned with the pernicious influence of independent schools on politics, don't vote for the people who went to them. That's how a liberal society responds to an institution it dislikes. It doesn't expropriate its assets. Maybe we shouldn't care about this. Maybe it's just a quirky policy from a party desperate to rise from the political doldrums if they can't gain power on the party that has made Brexit a multi-year. They can't gain power from a party that has made Brexit a multi-year rolling shamble. Should it really be too worried about their views?
What is going on with Brexit? They're still dicking around with that.
The can keeps on getting kicked down the proverbial road.
Mm-hmm.
But there are broader, equally illiberal forces across the world that are looking to oppose private schooling. As I covered in my interview with the Oil del Ignacy Grau earlier this summer, the UN has set private schools in its sights. Rather than celebrating more diverse and pluralistic education systems, some want to snuff them out. To these petty tyrants, I'd like to point out the arguments contained in a nearly 100-year-old court case decided by the United States Supreme Court. And we'll go on here with Pierce versus Society of Sisters.
855 450 free like freedom. You can join us on the radio, whether you want to talk about education or whatever's on your mind. You can do it here on Free Talk Live.
I can definitely say that I have found the best cryptocurrency wallet. Certainly the best named one. I'm Mark Edge, and I love the Edge wallet. I've been using it for the last few months. You can buy, sell, trade, and hold your cryptocurrency securely. I trust my holdings of all the major cryptocurrencies to Edge wallet, and you should too. No long phrases to memorize, just a username and password. Secure your freedom with Edge wallet. Get it now on Apple or Android in the App Store or at edge.app. The next generation wallet is coming from Divvy. In just a few taps, you'll be able to send, earn, spend, and exchange digital money in seconds. Send money around the globe with only a swipe. Instantly exchange between Divvy, Bitcoin, and fiat right in the mobile app and withdraw directly to your bank account. Divvy already offers the first one-tap solution for earning passive income with crypto. Multi-tiered masternodes allow everyone to partake in the network. Visit DivvyProject.org. DivvyProject.org.
Hi, I'm Derek J. To me, an activist's calling is to actively work to advance a cause. The cause for which I work is personal freedom. I believe my life is best when I engage in voluntary interactions and self-government. I reject the idea that anyone else has a higher claim to my life or my body than I do. I see people who call themselves the government as a threat to my personal freedom. I realize you may feel differently, but my relationship with the people who call themselves the government is completely involuntary. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
This is a special alert for business owners, consultants, coaches, folks planning retirement, entrepreneurs, and anyone who is saving and investing to build a financial future. You are likely aware that financial privacy for most people has recently died a miserable death. And let's face it, without privacy, there really is no security, is there? Bankrupt governments and banks on the verge of collapse are perhaps the biggest threat to your financial future today. The Lighthouse Law Club recognizes this and has been working diligently to provide safe, secure, and productive tools to ensure your privacy, your financial security, and your future financial well-being, despite the catastrophes which many people fear are looming ahead of us. Find out more with a variety of free videos on the YouTube channel for Lighthouse Law Club. Just search YouTube for Lighthouse Law Club and secure your future today.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can bring up whatever you want here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. On the way tonight, Uber targeted for a $650 million fine from the state of New Jersey. We'll tell you more about that on the way with you tonight. It's Ian.
And Mark.
Plus, I want to make sure you know about balance of nature because good nutrition is key to looking and feeling great, but eating right all the time can be a challenge. Travel and work can definitely get in the way of that, or maybe you just don't have the desire or the time to shop and cook the right foods. Balance of Nature has a solution for you with just 3 of the Balance of Nature fruit capsules and 3 of their veggie capsules. You can get 10 servings of fruits and vegetables, and that is a lot of nutrition. You can go online to become a preferred customer, which will give you the best pricing and free shipping. And then after your 3rd month, Balance of Nature will ship to you at no additional charge a set of fruits and veggies. So get on over to balanceofnature.com. You can use discount code FTL to get that special offer. That's balanceofnature.com with code FTL, like Free Talk Live. Mark, you are telling us about the UK Labour Party that is apparently now added to their party platform, the total abolition of private education, stealing the properties of the private schools, just taking them right out from, essentially nationalizing them, taking them right out from under their private ownership, and turning them over to the U.S. or the UK state. So what else do we need to know?
Well, Mike McShane, the author here at Forbes, pointed out that not only is this happening in the UK, but there are forces in the UN that are attempting to do the same things.
Globally?
globally. This doesn't surprise me at all, right? I mean, the hallmark of a bad idea is attempting to force it on people.
Sure. Right? Because if it was a good idea, you could just persuade them.
Now, I can see why these petty dictators on both sides of the aisle, all sides of the aisle, want to get the reins of power of public school, because that's where, in the United States at least, 85% of the kids are educated. So if you can bend and twist their little minds at that time, then you've got standard issue voters. Right now, you're letting the government educate your kid. How do you think that's going to go? I'll bet they start voting for more government.
Sure. Government is good, according to the
That's what governments
schools.
want. They want that more power. And they're going to try different methods to do it. And, force is what government does. That's its definition. The government is an organization that claims, well, I should say the state. The definition of the state is an organization that claims a monopoly privilege over the use of violence in a given land mass. And that's it. That's the definition. Don't believe me? Look it up on YouTube where Barack Obama says it. Now, he doesn't say it exactly the way I do, but he says it's darn close.
He says it's a monopoly on violence.
Yep.
Those are the words he uses.
Right, and that's what it is. Now, here's where the Supreme Court had to say about this some time ago. I guess it's Justice James C. McReynolds, long dead. The child is not the mere creature of the state. Those who nurture him and direct his destiny have the right, coupled with the high duty, to recognize and prepare him for additional obligations. So they're saying that the parents here need to be the ones who decide how a kid's going to be educated. And I would go further that forcing somebody to pay for an education that they consider immoral, and I consider government school education immoral.
Me too.
Is itself immoral.
Of course.
I mean,
forcing anyone to pay for anything they don't agree with is immoral.
Right. And, if the government schools are so great, and we know that they're the worst in any given geographic area for any given grade, not any, but more than 90% of the time, it's going to be very difficult to find a private school that's as bad as a government school.
Right, because if your private school is bad, it's not going to likely stay in business for very long because, well, guess what? The parents, the people who are deciding to hire that school, can decide to leave that school anytime they want for whatever reason they want to, and they can take their money with them. Now, they may lose the money they've spent on that year, but after that, they don't have to come back.
There may be a handful of charter schools out there that don't perform as well as the vast majority of public schools or whatever. I don't know. There's probably some school that's for the mentally challenged. What's the proper term to use for kids with
not retarded.
You're not supposed to use retarded.
No.
Whatever
not
it is.
Not crippled.
It's certainly not that one either.
I know all the words you're not supposed to say.
Right. So, what are the schools for the kids with mental issues? Maybe that performs worse than the government school in for that grade in that district. So I'm going to leave a little bit of room open.
I bet you that school performs better than the government school division that handles those kids. They spend a ton of money on those special programs.
Right. If you compared special needs to, a lot of special needs kids end up in government schools because it costs so much more to educate them, and the kid has a right to an education.
They want to socialize those costs.
We've been told that there is now a right to an education. I don't know how this is what they call a positive right as opposed to a negative right. I don't know how this right was created. I was born on planet Earth, and now I'm responsible for educating all the people within the geopolitical zone in which I live.
Well, here you get into the weird definition of positive and negative rights, where you should have the freedom to educate yourself as much as you like.
Sure.
You have a right to education in that way, in that you own yourself. You should be able to put whatever information into you that you want to put into you. But the other, and that's what they call a negative right. The positive right is where you have a right to someone else's labor, that you have a right to have someone educate you and not have to pay for it, basically. That's the kind of rights we oppose here on Free Talk Live. But the negative right of, hey, you've got the right to be left alone to have whatever kind of education you want that you can afford to pay for or whatever. By all means, go
Whenever
for it.
you make this trade in your mind, you say, well, yes, I have the right to this. Somebody out there is going to agree with, yes, you do have that right. You have the right to an education. And that person is going to attempt to provide it to you through taxation. But they're never going to provide you a good education. They're never going to provide the education you would want for your child.
No. Instead, they provide what education they want for your child.
Right. There's always a trade-off.
And then you get to fight over with the other parents over what it should be.
Right. So now you can spend the next 13 years slogging through the school boards and all this other stuff, trying to get one tiny little thing done. I don't think we should be putting condoms on the cucumbers. I think we should put them on bananas, or whatever it is that you're trying to figure out, trying to do within the system. When in a market, if you don't like something, you defund it.
Right, and go somewhere else.
The reason right now,
create the alternative.
The reason right now that tuna fish is dolphin safe, always has a dolphin safe thing on the side, is because people demanded it.
What do you think dolphin tastes like?
Let's see. It's a cow type creature. It's always on the move. I imagine it's tough. I don't know. Not chicken. Somebody's going to say that. Anyway, here, Mike McShane from
Wikipedia says cooked dolphin meat has a flavor similar to beef liver. I still don't know what that means, but
you don't know what beef liver tastes like?
I mean, I know what beef tastes like.
Do you know what liver tastes like?
Maybe, I don't know. Not really.
There are people older than you all over America going, hey, how did he get away with not having liver? I mean, yes, I got fed liver. My mom likes it, still likes it. And we must have eaten it at least every other week.
Dolphin meat is high in mercury, which could pose a health danger to humans.
Yeah, it's not a good idea to eat that. It's an apex predator in the water. So, hey, kids, stay away from the dolphin. Anyway, he says, an illiberal tide is rising around the world. The right-wing variety is ascendant, but the left-wing variety is lurking in the shadows. Those of us committed to the fundamentally liberal position, and liberal in this case he's using as more freedom, proposition of individual rights should fight against both with full hearts.
855-450 free. Whether you want to talk about education, coercion behind the government system, or whatever is on your mind. Plus, coming up, speaking of coercion, the Uber company is being hit with $650 million in fines out of New Jersey. We'll tell you about that on the way. You can take control of the airwaves on Free Talk Live.
We can all agree these are troubled times, right? So do you know who's on your wireless network? Whether it's a big company selling your data or a foreign hacker, if you're not protected, everybody sees your information. That's why you need Flash Routers, a custom Wi-Fi router created for privacy. Flash Routers uses a virtual private network, or VPN, to protect your online activity from hackers, trackers, and large corporations. And not just one, but all your devices with one out-of-the-box setup. Plus, Flash Routers also enhances your wireless network performance and unlocks powerful router management tools to let you take total control of your network. Call or click Flash Routers today at 1-866-509-5817 or FLASHROUTERS.com. That's 1-866-509-5817 or FlashRouters.com. Protect your wireless home network today with Flash Routers.
Have you ever watched a video on the internet and found yourself waiting for the skip the ad button? The reason this takes a few seconds is because the video delivery companies get to collect impression commission, and the viewer never sees the advertisement. The company still pays full price to run the ad. Does this sound like a scam to you? Is there any wonder why internet ads are so ineffective? For over 100 years, radio has been a proven source for companies' messages. Radio listeners are engaged and want to support the companies that sponsor the shows they're so passionate about. Simple companies like window treatments, security, pillow companies, and more have been able to break away from the big box stores, building multi-million-dollar businesses. Find out what radio can do for your business. Call 877-996-4327 or advertise at gcnlive.com. That's advertise at gcnlive.com.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
Now you can follow LRN.FM on the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You can take control of the airwaves here. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We've got the Discord call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm. If you'd like to get on the air with us and sound almost like you're sitting here in the studio, the Discord lines are the best way to do that. With you tonight, it's Ian.
And Mark.
Thank you to Jason Howcroft, who is a Free Talk Live Silver Amplifier. That means that Jason is contributing $5 a month to the AMP program over at amp.freetalklive.com. AMP stands for Advertise, Market, and Promote. The idea is simple. If you like the show, you want to support what we do, help us get on more radio stations. We're on 200 stations coast to coast and beyond in the United States. We could be on more, just could use your help, and that's what the AMP program helps us to do. You get some perks like access to the supporters chat rooms on our Discord forum. There's an AMP-only Facebook group and more. You can go to amp.freetalklive.com to learn more about the program there and the benefits that you get, and also sign up for $5 a month with any credit card, major credit card, and also PayPal, plus Bitcoin BTC over at amp.freetalklive.com. Mark, did you have more to say on this school situation where some bureaucrats and politicians over in the UK just want to abolish private schools altogether and take all the private school property out there and just give it to the state?
Be very, very, very careful whenever a politician proposes to ban something. Have their bans ever worked? Is this a good idea? When they have to steal money, and that's what taxation is, it's just theft. When they have to steal money...
It's extortion.
Extortion is a form of theft, sir.
It's worse.
It's a form of theft.
Yep, but it's worse, though.
Okay.
Because theft is just taking something without authorization. Extortion is taking something under the threat of violence, usually, or the threat of some other kind of undesirable consequence.
The law has all kinds of distinctions for forms of theft, but theft is theft.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever somebody has to steal to fund their idea, it's a bad idea. Pretty much every single time.
Sure, because, again, they could fund it voluntarily if it were a good idea. And maybe it is a good idea. They're just lazy. Because there are some people who want to go to the government to fund their grand idea. Let's help sick people. That's a pretty good idea. Let's help poor people. That's a pretty good idea.
No better way to succeed at doing the opposite of what you're hoping to do, though, than going to the government to handle the issue. Like sick people, for instance. Sure, I get it. You want universal payer or Medicare or whatever the idea is, but when you compare it to whatever was going on in the United States 10 years ago, 15 years ago, whatever the period of time is that you're picking, that wasn't free market either. The government was thoroughly involved in the medical system back then, too. So, I mean, you can't compare different types of socialism and then call it a victory. I mean, it's all a bad idea.
So again, our toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE like freedom. It was news earlier this week that the former CEO of Uber had cashed out a ton of his shares, like millions of dollars or hundreds of millions of dollars worth of shares. And as Piano pointed out in our chat room over at discord.lrn.fm, surprise, just days later, there was an announcement that Uber's been fined $650 million by the state of New Jersey. So you think the former CEO caught wind of that and decided he was going to dump?
Yeah.
So according to CNET.com, New Jersey is the latest state to say Uber's drivers should be classified as employees rather than independent contractors. The state's Department of Labor and Workforce Development said that because of this misclassification, the ride-hailing company owes it roughly $650 million in unemployment taxes and disability insurance, according to Bloomberg Law. The Department of Labor in New Jersey reportedly has been trying to get unpaid employment taxes from Uber going back as far as 2015. According to documents obtained by Bloomberg Law, it said the company owed the state $523 million in overdue taxes, along with another $119 million in interest and penalties for the last 4 years. Uber is disputing the findings. Uber's spokesperson said in an email, quote, "We're challenging this preliminary but incorrect determination because drivers are independent contractors in New Jersey and elsewhere." And that's definitely what the agreement is when you sign on as an Uber driver. It's crystal clear that you're a contractor.
Yeah. Now,
you pick your own hours.
The difficulty here is that, and I'm no labor law expert or anything like that, but the these terms, employee and independent contractor, have definitions.
They're legal terms, and they have very specific definitions.
One of the things that makes somebody more likely to be an independent contractor than an employee is they get to set their own hours.
Yep, that's a key factor.
And you certainly do with Uber, the gig economy, as it were.
That's right. You log into the app whenever you feel like it.
Right. So they're not forcing you to come to work. They're not telling you what times or anything like that.
They'll incentivize you.
Yep.
They'll say, "Oh, we got double the rates right now.
Yep.
So surge pricing."
Surge pricing. And definitely people will log in for that. But what we're seeing in the United States, and I don't know if this is going on worldwide, but we're seeing in the United States an ascendance in sort of the labor movement. The neo-labor movement out there is trying to get its legs back under it for the next millennium. And, be careful, folks. The reason is that anybody who wants to get power is always going to build up how bad things are for you. They want to disempower you. And the labor movement ultimately says you're being exploited, you're poor and unhappy because you're being exploited by,
in this case, by Uber,
whomever
what the claim is.
The case may be.
And that's why you need us government people to come in and help you little guys out.
Right. And the reality is that you can do more for your earning potential, your station in life, whatever it is, than any organization ever could. Now, I think that labor, organizations have their place, but be careful of the rhetoric, because the rhetoric will steal your mojo. They will steal everything about your empowerment from you. And again, I'll say it, and I know people don't like to hear it, but this is it. It's not what you make, it's what you spend. If you want to be successful and retire early or whatever, you need to do a few things. Start with putting 10% of your earnings, whatever they are, large or small. Start by putting it aside so that you have a small till you got something to start investing, and then try to find an investment that's going to get you something like 7% return. They exist out there. Tony Robbins has got a great book on money management. He can tell you far more in his book than I could tell you, right now. And you can get it on audiobook. You can get it. Go to Audible, and I think you can probably use coupon code FTL still to get a free download.
I haven't had them as an advertiser for like a decade.
But I'll bet they haven't removed it.
Huh. Well, somebody was welcome to try that out and let us know.
Yeah.
In that case. But driver classification is an issue that government regulators have been taking a closer look at over the last year. California passed a law in September that could require Uber and other on-demand companies to reclassify their drivers as employees instead of independent contractors. That law is set to go into effect in January. New York, Oregon, and Washington have considered similar legislation. Now, we did report on this law in California, and basically Uber and Lyft deny that they will qualify under the provision. So they're essentially just saying this law is designed to make politicians look like they're doing something. It's not actually going to require them to change their business.
Right.
Because if it did, I suspect you'd see Uber pull out of California. That would be my guess, because I don't think they want to change their fundamental how their business is organized. They don't want to have employees. That's a complete shift in how that business is run. So it will be hard for them to pull out of California because it's a huge marketplace, but I can't see any other way they can do it. Because if they change for California, they're going to have to change everywhere else. Because it's going to be, the dominoes are going to fall at that point.
As California goes, so goes the nation.
Uber, Lyft, and other companies have vowed to fight the California law, putting more than $90 million behind a ballot initiative that will take the issue to voters in 2020 in November. Many drivers have said this move is a slap in the face as they struggle to earn a living wage. Uber, well, again, plenty of drivers are happy with Uber, okay, just to be clear. Yep. There's always going to be, how many thousands or hundreds of thousands or millions of drivers do they have around the world? There's a lot of people driving for these companies. So, of course, you're going to find the 1% or 2% or however many there are that are mad about their circumstances, that want to get paid more, they want more bennies.
I don't know what the percentage is, but they don't have to do the Uber job. They can go on and do any other job. This living wage concept it's just a buzzword. Your wage is whatever the market determines your worth, your particular whatever you're doing is worth.
855-450-FREE. That's our toll-free number. If you work in the ride-sharing industry and you've got an opinion on this, we'd love to hear from you. You can join us in Hour 3 coming up on Free Talk Live.
You love Bitcoin. It's the future, right? Well, no, not if everyone stops using it. I mean, think about it. How many places in your town take Bitcoin? One? None? Let's be real. If this Bitcoin thing is ever going to happen, it's going to need your help. The good news is the guys at AnyPay have your back. We built a website called helpmetakebitcoin.com, and it's a place you can send any business, and they'll be set up to take Bitcoin in 5 minutes. helpmetakebitcoin.com.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com. Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,468, silver at $16.97, and Bitcoin is trading around $8,447. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, it's an open secret. The deep state is working hand in hand with Silicon Valley social media giants like Twitter, Facebook, and Google to control the flow of information. Mint-press news reports that include suppressing, censoring, and sometimes outright purging dissenting voices, all under the guise of fighting fake news and Russian propaganda. Most recently, it was revealed that Twitter's senior editorial executive for Europe, the Middle East, and Africa is an active officer of the British Army's 77th Brigade, a unit dedicated to online warfare and psychological operations. In other words, he specializes in disseminating propaganda. The news left many wondering how a member of the British Armed Forces secured such an influential job in the media. The bombshell that one of the world's most influential social networks is controlled in part by an active psychological warfare officer was not covered at all in the New York Times, CNN, CNBC, MSNBC, or Fox News, who appear to have found the news unremarkable. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. New legislation will throw people in jail for disrespecting cops. That comes in a report from Activist Post. The new legislation is quickly passing through the legal process in New York. If you annoy a police officer in upstate New York, you could find yourself facing massive fines and even jail time. In a vote this week, lawmakers in the Monroe County Legislature passed a proposal in a 17-10 vote to fine and/or jail a person who annoys, alarms, or threatens the personal safety of an officer. The jail sentence is up to 1 year, and the fine is up to $5,000. According to the legislation, the anti-disrespecting applies to all first responders, not just police. Advocates for the tyranny claim that it looks after those who look out for us, because people need to be jailed if they talk back to a cop. Precious metals are quietly attempting a recovery. Bulls still have some work to do to repair the technical damage inflicted on both metals during last week's selling. Gold and silver still face some overhead resistance and the potential for concentrated short selling by financial institutions in the futures markets. Activist Post reports futures market manipulation of precious metals prices remains an obstacle for free and fair price discovery. Despite some recent prosecutions involving price rigging by banks, the Gold Antitrust Action Committee believes the rabbit hole goes much deeper. The committee this week reported that U.S. Representative Alex Mooney of West Virginia is pushing Attorney General Bill Barr to pursue additional investigations of price rigging in the futures markets. Mooney raises concern in particular about a mechanism for settling metals contracts called exchange for physicals. He notes it may pose some danger of a systemic issue. Both Mooney and the GATA have repeatedly raised questions with the Commodity Futures Trading Commission that have gone unanswered. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Researchers at Princeton University's Department of Sociology have made a major leap in our understanding of social interaction.
We conducted trials in 90 supermarkets across the country and found that essentially 100% of people disapproved of having a stranger hit them across the face and then expose their genitalia right in the middle of the supermarket, which we found very interesting.
Researchers observed similar reactions when the subject hurled shopping carts toward unsuspecting shoppers, stood in the deli section rubbing cold cuts against his chest, or got right near cashier's ears and began loudly singing Yankee Doodle.
In this particular trial, we had our subject, Kevin, take off his shirt, tape a banana to his forehead, and charge at various shoppers like he was a rhino. Within 20 minutes, store owners called the police and he was arrested, allowing us to come to the conclusion that this type of behavior is still considered at least somewhat taboo.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can bring up whatever you want here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE as we launch into the third hour of this program, live Saturday edition of the show. It's Ian here with you.
And Mark.
We've been talking about the latest attack politically against Uber and other ride-sharing companies. Uber has now been hit with a $650 million fine, according to the state gang in New Jersey. $523 million in overdue taxes. They say Uber owes them $523 million for back unemployment taxes going back to 2015, and because they haven't paid it, they also owe another $119 million in interest and penalties for the last 4 years on top of that.
I bet they'd settle for just the back taxes.
Maybe so.
Yeah.
But
then they'd just set a precedent that's absolutely, that would put Uber out of business. And ultimately, that's what they're looking for. Yeah,
well, they don't want to put them out of business.
Yes,
they want them to
do.
get money out of them.
I'm sorry, the taxi cab.
Oh, you think they're doing the taxi cab business?
And the people who own the companies are far better connected
in New Jersey.
Yeah,
that could be true, but Uber's not going to go away, at least because of state action against it. If they go under, it's because they haven't actually made any money yet, from what I understand. They're highly in debt and basically running off of venture capital, and they're
got a lot of users.
They're not winning what they're trying to do yet. But it's an interesting model, and it was a very disruptive model. It's something that we've been following closely, or to some extent, here on Free Talk Live over the years. I do like the idea of decentralized ride sharing, as they call it, the gig economy, letting people make their own choices, not having to have a centralized authority over things as far as getting from point A to point B. I think that Uber and Lyft are a stepping stone in the right direction. I don't know how, I don't think that they are the ultimate goal. I think a truly decentralized ride-sharing app is a better solution, but that while there is one of those that exists, it's called Cell 411. It hasn't really taken off yet, unfortunately.
Well, one thing about a more centralized, profit-driven, app company is that it's got marketing.
Yeah, that's true.
And marketing matters.
Yeah. So anyway, they're saying that Uber owes them $523 million in overdue taxes because they want Uber to be classified as an employer. They want the drivers who are clearly independent contractors, and that's what it's – having done it myself, I was an Uber driver for a short period of time. I've gone through the process of becoming an Uber driver, and it's crystal clear that, hey, you're not an employee. You're a contractor. You get to set your own hours. That's one of the big attractions for people to drive for Uber, because you can – sure, there are people that do it full-time, and that's their only thing that they do, but a lot of their drivers are part-timers. They're folks who already have a job or a business or whatever it is that they do, and then on the weekends or at nights or whenever they want to, they can log into their Uber or Lyft apps or both and start accepting rides and make a little bit of extra money. So that's a big attraction for the people that want to work for them. And if these states like California and New Jersey are successful in their bid to force Uber to change to an employment-based company, then that's all going to go away. All of a sudden, you won't be able to select your hours with Uber. All of a sudden, they're going to start telling you what to do. If they do indeed stay with if they're forced into this business model and they stick with it and they don't just, leave the United States.
If you're an employee, then, well, you got to do employee things.
That's right. So anyway, back to the story here from CNET.com. They're talking about a law that will be going into provision or into effect in California in January 1st. Of 2020. They believe that's going to change things for Uber, but they're fighting it with $90 million behind a ballot initiative that voters will vote on in November of 2020 out there. Uber and Lyft's business models depend on bringing aboard hundreds of thousands of independent contractors whose labor is typically cheaper than that of employees. That's because Uber and Lyft drivers supply and maintain their own cars and also pay for their own health care and benefits, such as sick days or overtime pay, because those things don't exist for contractors. You can work as many hours as you want for Uber and Lyft, and you don't get paid more if you work more than 40 hours. And you know what? That's okay. A lot of people would be all right with that. A lot of folks in the employment world who have jobs would love to work more than 40 hours. Let's say that's what they get, because some jobs you only get like 20 hours. But let's say you're a 40-hour-a-week employee. Most businesses will do whatever it takes to stop you from getting more than 40 hours in that week because they don't want to have to pay you time and a half. They just won't do it. They'd rather hire on other people to get those extra hours because they don't have to pay them as much than to pay you, the employee that's been there for a while and you know what you're doing, to pay you the time and a half. And that's really frustrating because some people would be willing to not get time and a half if it meant they could work another 50 or 60 hours at the same job rather than then having to go and get a second job and juggle the hours and the schedules between two different jobs just so they can get enough money in, to get their bills paid and take care of things. But it's the government that creates that requirement. The government stands in the way and says, whoa, we're here to help you. We're going to give you more than what you get paid. We're going to give you time and a half if you can just get those hours over 40. But the businesses won't give them to you because they're forced to pay you.
I'd go work at a job for 10 hours a week just for the benefits. I mean, as a guy
You won't get benefits at 10 hours a week.
I know, but I would if I would be willing to work at a job if I were to get the benefits at 10 hours a week. I don't want to work 40 hours a week at a job for benefits.
Sure.
I would be willing to work at a place for 10 hours a week if I could get the benefits out of the deal. As a guy who's worked his own small business for close to 20 years.
That's not going to happen.
No, it's not.
So anyway, New Jersey is sending a message, according to the executive director of the New York Taxi Workers Alliance, sending a message that the state's labor laws aren't dictated by corporations. It's a stinging rebuke of the architects of the gig economy, and we hope it permeates across other sectors. Even if Uber's drivers were determined to be employees rather than independent contractors, Uber says the $650 million in New Jersey would be too high, particularly if it's based on what the company has earned in the state. Uber didn't disclose the revenue it generated in New Jersey over the past 4 years, but its combined revenue for all the markets where it operated in 2018 was $11.3 billion. So there's not much more to say on that particular story. Rest assured, Uber is going to be fighting this. They must pour, I don't know how many millions of dollars every year.
That's why they're not profitable. All the lawsuits.
All the attorneys. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's not easy to be an innovator in a field where, like you pointed out earlier, you're challenging the taxi cab workers. You're challenging these really just established businesses who for decades have thought they owned their customers, that they thought they owned their business, the marketplace through regulations that they've had passed and forced down the throats of their smaller competitors. And then Uber and Lyft came in and changed everything, and they are not happy.
Yeah, not only, but Uber and Lyft expanded the marketplace. I'm sure plenty of business has been taken away from taxi companies.
Mm-hmm.
But
rightfully so.
At the same time, there are lots of people paying for rides that weren't previously paying for rides.
Because of the convenience factor?
Right, because it's easy to do, and it's fast, and there's somebody right around the corner to give you a ride.
In a lot of cases, it's true.
As opposed to picking up the phone and calling
and waiting
in
45 minutes.
Waiting 45 minutes for a taxi to come get you and all that stuff.
If they don't forget you or whatever. Sometimes people call and the cab doesn't show up or whatever. Yeah, you're right. They've definitely brought a new level of competition to that industry. And the fact is, when that happens, the old guard doesn't like it. Well, it's been this way for our lifetimes, and that's the way it should always be.
Imagine how the people who invested in taxi medallions in New York City feel.
Oh, they're
right
burned.
Now. They're totally burned. I mean, those things were up to, I believe, $1 million a piece.
Yeah.
And now they're worth, well, not worth less.
It's a fraction.
But they're a fraction. And, you know, if you bought one with the hopes of it going up and it went down, that feels really bad.
855-450-FREE. That's the toll-free number here. If you want to comment on Uber and Lyft, the gig economy, you can join us here. 855-450-3733. And you can take control of the airwaves and bring up whatever is on your mind. It is the live Saturday edition. And, of course, you can join us on our Discord server where you can call in and sound almost like you're sitting here with us over at discord.lrn.fm. This is Free Talk Live. I want to tell you about my favorite cryptocurrency wallet, Edge Wallet, at edge.app. Edge is the wallet I use more than any other, and that was true long before Edge Wallet became a sponsor of Free Talk Live. Edge Wallet allows you to buy, sell, trade, and securely hold your cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, tokens, Monero, Ripple, Dash, Bitcoin Cash, and more. It's available for both Android and iOS, and you can download it via the Play or App Store or via Edge Wallet's website, edge.app. Secure your freedom with Edge Wallet. Have you heard of LibertyCon? LibertyCon is not only a convention with great speakers like Whole Foods CEO and co-founder John Mackey and Nobel Prize winner Vernon Smith, but it's also unique because you get a chance to network with more than 70 pro-liberty organizations, one-on-one for the purpose of career advancement, business, and internship opportunities. April 3rd through 5th in Washington, D.C. You can learn more by visiting libertycon.com and use code FTL for a $10 discount on your registration. That's libertycon.com.
Are you sick of hearing the same crap on libertarian podcasts? Inside jokes, interviews of the same person you've heard 50 times? Then you need to listen to the Lava Flow podcast. No nonsense and to the point. Get the information you need and get out. You won't hear the latest libertarian circle jerk news here, but instead hard-hitting anti-statist news with me, Roger Paxton, shooting from the lip. LAVA stands for Libertarian, Anarcho-Capitalist, Voluntarist, and Agrist. And if you think you fit any of these categories, then this is the podcast for you. Listen now at thelavaflow.com to find out what's rustling my jimmies, what's in the news, the latest bad cop, stupid stuff statists are saying, and so much more. You can find out more and subscribe on any podcatcher at thelavaflow.com. That's thelavaflow.com. Part of the Pax Libertas Productions podcast network.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Should you be able to earn an honest living free from senseless government interference? The Institute for Justice thinks so. That's why we've spent years defending hard-working men and women from pointless government regulations. Nationwide, IJ has created opportunity by reducing government power. But there is still more work to be done. Visit our website today at ij.org. Let IJ take care of the government so you can take care of your business.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live, doing the live Saturday edition of the show. You're always invited to join us here. You can bring up whatever you want. You don't have to talk about Uber and them constantly being targeted by these taxi cab businesses or their protectors in state governments.
You can talk about Airbnb instead.
Also under attack.
Yeah, they hate
in various different places. Hotels do not like Airbnb.
No, the next door neighbors don't like it much either. If
really
if somebody rents an Airbnb for a huge party and blows the place out,
is that common?
It's not uncommon.
Really?
Happens a lot.
Wow, okay.
I'm not saying
know
it's
that.
most of the Airbnb rentals. I would say it's a small fraction. But there are a lot of Airbnb rentals. And so you get left with this, I don't know, dead chicken in the dryer or whatever.
Wow. Well, I don't imagine that would result in that user getting very good feedback.
I don't know much about the Airbnb system. I've only used it a few times.
Okay. Yeah, I've used it a couple times myself, and it's been great. Real nice places and affordable prices. So, but that's what the hotels don't like. They don't like the fact that people are undercutting them. And if you don't like people being next door to you partying, then don't live in a neighborhood. Go and get a piece of property where you don't have neighbors. And problem solved. Anyway, toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE. I think that's probably a pretty uncommon thing that happens, Mark. Because a lot of the Airbnb folks actually live in the houses that they're renting out. They're usually just like renting a room or something like that. So I don't think you're going to get away with a massive party.
Times you can get an entire house.
You can, yeah, for sure. So we got more coming up here. Your calls and thoughts welcome. Also want to let you know about helpmetakebitcoin.com. If you're ready to start taking cryptocurrency like Bitcoin, Dash, and Bitcoin Cash at your local business, then you need to go to helpmetakebitcoin.com. They'll walk you through it. And most importantly, you're probably used to like filling out a bunch of paperwork and applying and showing ID and begging permission from banks to take things like credit cards and all that. None of that applies with helpmetakebitcoin.com. They don't need to even know who you are to take cryptocurrency. So you're instantly approved. HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com. It's free also to accept cryptocurrency, so you don't have to pay any ridiculous fees to do it through HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com. They've got apps for iOS and Android devices, even just a plain old web browser. HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com. Let's go to the phones to the fun. Mike is on the line listening on FM to WVFT in Tallahassee. Hello, Mike.
Hi there, guys.
Hey, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hi, I just would like to respond to your previous comments about poor Uber and Lyft and how all the governments pick on them and the folks that drive to them are independent contractors and they're not employees. And you guys were talking like you knew about the law when, in fact, you don't know what the laws are.
What law?
Have you ever looked up the laws about how to classify workers versus independent contractors?
I've read articles on it, but I haven't read the law itself.
So you've read articles about you haven't done any research.
Can you enlighten me? This is why it's an open lines phone.
Sure.
So you can pick up the effing phone and call in.
That's what I'm doing.
Then go right ahead, sir.
Have you ever heard about the ABC laws about how to classify workers?
Tell me more.
Nope, I don't think I've heard of that. I did say in that piece that I am not I'm not some kind of labor lawyer.
Well, okay, what do we need to know here?
Well, you were going on about how you knew this and how you used to work for Uber and that you knew that they were independent contractors.
Yeah, it's pretty crystal clear.
and I'm just calling to tell you that you're wrong.
Okay,
no,
what part
he's
about
saying, what Ian said, and this is really specific. He said from his experience, he read the terms of service when he signed up, and they were very specific that you were a independent
It's not
contractor.
even in the terms of, I mean, I'm sure it's
Not
in the terms of service, but they make it pretty clear
when you're signing up
that you're a contractor. So, like, what am I missing here?
Well, you're going like whatever Uber and Lyft say is the fact and come down from Moses and the Ten Commandments.
Well, why should it matter?
Okay, but
If
I'm
they
asking
tell
you. Well, hold on, Mark. I'm asking you to tell me what I need to know here. If Uber and Lyft are withholding some sort of information or whatever, and by the way, I'm not a fan of these companies. Okay, Uber is not good in a lot of their business practices, so I'm not like some sort of Uber subservient, obedient, I don't know what the word I'm looking for. Sycophant. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for. So
you're not actually an English teacher, Ian?
No, I'm not either. So what is it that I need to know here? You're saying that I'm missing something about classifications, so please go ahead and clarify.
Well, one of the things that you're forgetting about is the ABC test, and I'm not an expert either.
Okay.
I'm just affected by these laws as well. And one of the things, if you're in the same business that they're in, if you rented a car to the person who was doing the driving, then that's a totally different business. But if you're in the same business, you're an employee. And if they give you directions, if they give you an app, that's a tool. If you supply tools to these people, if you drive and if you give directions to them, and if you tell them what to wear, if you tell them what kind of car
hold on.
to
Slow down here. The tool in this case isn't a tool that assists you with doing the job of driving someone somewhere.
Right, you bring your own car.
You can use your own. You can use whatever mapping tool that you want, right? Like you can use Google Maps. You can use Waze.
You have to use your app.
The app is a matchmaking app. What the app does is it connects you to a rider, someone who wants to take a ride somewhere.
It's a tool. And if you take directions, if they tell you where to go and how to get there,
they don't.
You're an employee. Yes, they do.
No, they don't.
Well, I mean, if I hire somebody to fix my toilet, them, right? They have to come where the toilet is, right?
They pay you. They tell you where to go. They tell you when to get there. They tell you
they don't.
Where,
it's the customer who tells you where to go.
Mm-hmm. Well, then you're going by the saying where the folks that have the app are just a technology company, when in fact they're a transportation company. They're not a technology company because
that's your opinion.
They're a transportation company with no cars.
That's your opinion, okay? And that has nothing to do with whether or not someone is an independent contractor. Your best argument so far is to claim that the app is a tool. That's the best claim that you've made so far. Everything else has been completely hollow. Huh?
No, it sounds like you guys are on the take for Uber and Lyft, and you don't even want to listen to what I say. You're discounting everything that I said.
I don't believe
That's because you're not.
Because that sounds to me like, when they started out, I thought this is brilliant. It turns people into independent contractors. And if they want to work for Uber and Lyft, then they will. And if they don't, they won't.
They follow the laws the same as the cab companies do, and the same as transportation
the laws were written in part by the cab companies. I mean, you know what a controlled marketplace is, right?
Do you work for a cab company? Just curious.
Perhaps.
By the way, I don't own any stock, and I wouldn't own any stock in Uber and Lyft because I'm not a fan of the way they run their businesses. Mike, if you actually have a real point to make, call another night. Thank you for the call tonight. I appreciate it. I'm sorry you weren't persuasive at all, but I did
pull up this ABC thing.
I pulled up the ABC test here, so we'll take a look at it because he didn't really explain what it was. He just kept citing it.
Well, he's upset.
Yeah, because he's a cabbie. 855-450-FREE. Busted. 855-450-3733.
You can bring
great. You can bring up whatever you want here. I'm not against cabbies. There's some decent ones out there. Free Talk Live. Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
Anarchapulco is the world's foremost conference for voluntarists, thinkers, and activists, held in beautiful Acapulco, Mexico. Share ideas on how to live free and escape the clutches of the state. Their unparalleled lineup of speakers will discuss entrepreneurship, investments, politics, philosophy, health, sustainability, lifestyles, and personal relationships. Stay in a world-class resort and enjoy the sun and beaches. February the 13th through the 16th, visit anarchapulco.com for early bird pricing and 10% off with coupon code FTL.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can bring up what you want. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Mark.
And we've been talking about the business of Uber and Lyft and these ride-sharing companies that have really got some taxi cab people's panties in a wad. We just had a gentleman call in that we outed as a taxi person. And again, I'm not saying
make his points invalid simply because
his points were invalid because they were, uninformed, but he was accusing us of being uninformed about the so-called ABC test, which actually, now that I've looked at it, we have looked at this before on the air, because we have talked about this issue of independent contractor versus employee. People like the caller, I think it was Mike in Tallahassee, want to believe that that Uber and Lyft and these other ride-sharing companies actually have employees, not independent contractors. And he made the argument that, well, Uber tells you where to go and how to get there, and they tell you what to wear, and they, you're supposed to follow these rules or whatever.
I'm sure back in the day, the farriers and the candlestick makers had all their arguments against the car and the light bulb out there and why they were bad. When those cars, they get above 30 miles an hour, they suck the air out of your lungs. And, that electricity, it's deadly. You touch it and you die. Well, somehow you're just not going to back off progress. This Uber has been around too long, and people are too enmeshed in this technology to stop this. It's on. And this is the price that people demand for being transported around. I worked as a cabbie. I know what it costs to get, some mom who doesn't have a car from her house to work when she missed the bus. I know what that costs. And it was like $15. You can get it for a fraction of that from Uber. And it's going to be faster. I can usually get picked up by Uber in 10 minutes.
That doesn't mean that Uber's a great company. I'd just like to clarify. He seemed to think that we were some sort of paid shills for Uber. One of the first things they did when I joined Uber back in, 2015 or whenever it was they cut the rate that they were paying out. It was 80% of the given fare would go to the driver, and within a couple months, they'd cut it to 75%. By the way,
taxi, when I was driving taxi, it was only 50%. 50.
Sure. But then again, they're paying for the upkeep on the cab.
I'm just saying.
Right. Well, in the case of the ride-sharing companies, you have to pay for the upkeep on your car. It's your responsibility because you're an independent contractor.
The cab was crap, and it was never as clean as I would have liked to.
Of course, because other drivers are in there, right. And it's not yours. You don't have control over it.
That would be what I would prefer to have.
Right. And so that's what you're given. With Uber, you kind of can do your own thing. Some of the Uber drivers, for instance, will have little perks for their riders that they're certainly not required to have. Like, remember, Mark, we were in Vegas recently for Freedom Fest, and we took a few Ubers while we were there, and I think one of the guys had like bottles of water in the back, in the back seat, little holders, and crack a bottle of water, it's included.
It's right. It what it does is it drives up the service in the industry. More competition creates better service.
Well, and the individual...
I never considered for a second getting bottles of water when I was driving a cab 20 years ago or whatever it was. Never considered getting bottles of water for my clientele. I did give tours around the city. I was from the city, and I knew what went on things. I happened to know what was going on in live theater. I'd have people who would specifically ask for me because I was, I don't know, a good conversationalist or whatever. But I never thought of water.
Right. Some of them will offer you a power cord for your phone. Hey, do you want to plug in, or what do you want to listen to? So, I mean, it's all up to the individual drivers.
When's the first time we're going to get somebody's downloaded malware on their phone through because they took the offer of plugging in to the Uber?
I've never heard of that happening.
Not yet.
I don't think it really works that way.
I don't know how it works. That's what scares me.
It's just a power cord, man.
Okay.
You don't really have to worry about that.
Okay.
Usually you have to authorize data transfer, and when you plug in a power cord,
all your naked pictures
by default,
right out there on the internet.
It's just power, man. So anyway, the claim here on this ABC test, because the caller kept bringing up, well, you don't know about the ABC test. All right, well, it's not hard to find out what this test is. According to a small business website, thebalancesmb.com, they say it's from a California ruling. So again, California is one of the most stringent states when it comes to these rules. Number one, so they say that you're only an independent contractor if each of these three factors are met. One, the worker is free from the control and direction of the hiring entity in connection with the performance of the work, both under the contract for the performance of the work and in fact. So the caller was suggesting that Uber tells you which way to go. Not true. Not true. You can choose to use whatever direction giving app you want or not. If you know your way around the city, then you can just get yourself there, and as long as the customer's happy with it, then it's fine. As long as you get the customer to where the customer wants to go, and the customer's okay with how you got there, Uber has had no input whatsoever.
Do you have this ability to sort of run up the meter, though? Let's take a long way.
That's why I say, if the customer is happy with how you've gotten there, if you're going the wrong direction, and the customer's like, hey, what are you doing? Well, then they're probably going to leave you a bad rating in that particular case. And Uber, and I presume Lyft as well, will kick you off the platform if you get enough bad ratings. Like if you drop below, I think, 4 stars, you're basically at risk of being disconnected from the service as a driver. We'll tell you the other 2 points on this ABC test here in a moment. But Jerome is on the line in Charleston, South Carolina, listening to WTMA. Hello, Jerome. You're on the air on Free Talk Live.
Yeah, so I just need to bring up a couple of things just from this past week. Trump called himself the most transparent president in American history.
The most transparent what?
President.
The most transparent president in American history, but yet he continues to stonewall when it comes to getting his tax returns, out for people to find out what's he hiding. Because now he's going to Supreme Court, and everybody knows he stacked that with some of his own cronies. So how is that going to get by? How are they going to get the tax returns out to the public when the Supreme Court's going to rule in his favor because he stacked them with people that he personally picked, and the other thing was his son.
How's that democracy thing working for you?
It's good to be king.
I would say that you're correct that Trump is full of it, as it were, when it comes to claiming to be the most transparent.
He's a liar, just like every other politician.
However, I would say good for him for not giving up his tax returns. I think it's a silly thing to have the American press pouring through your tax returns.
Yeah, but then on the other hand, he's all over Biden about his wealth and having him investigated by Ukraine. So how does that work? And then is Don Jr. talking about wishes his last
Trump,
name was
it's not
Biden,
like
so
Trump
he can
hasn't
make
been
a lot of money?
investigated. I mean, they've been investigated. They're all up in his butt with every kind of stethoscope they can find.
Yeah, but then you got Don Jr. talking about he wishes his last name was Biden so he could make a lot of money off of his father's name. Does he realize who he's related to? I mean, what an absurd comment. And then he's got his girlfriend sitting right next to him, who's a lawyer and Hispanic, by the way. I found out that she's half Puerto Rican. I wonder how's that going over in the family.
I don't think they think much about it at all. If it was a problem with her ethnicity, presumably we would have heard about it, right?
Well, that shows what a phony she is because
they're all phonies, dude.
Yep, this is the process. The best liar wins.
Yeah, I mean, you're right about these guys. They're phonies. They're scum. They are awful, and so are the Democrats, and so are the Republicans, and so are the Green Party people, and so are a lot of these people that are searching for power over other human beings. I mean, they're all bad, dude.
Okay, I'm not going to win any arguments with y'all. So
it's no argument. They're all bad. All politicians are lying scum. Thank you for the call tonight. I appreciate hearing from you.
Not all.
Well, except for Ron Paul. I mean, he's pretty honest. But he's no longer a politician. So pretty much all of them. 855, 450 free. If they're going for a federal office, they're probably corrupt as hell. Just look out. Don't believe a word they say to you. Because they just want your vote so they can get power and tell you how to live. More on the way. This is Free Talk Live.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com. Or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote.
Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-301-5435. That's 800-301-5435. 800-301-5435.
Are you afraid to go to the mailbox because of letter after letter from the IRS? Are they stacking on more and more penalties and interest? By now, you know the problem won't go away on its own. Don't let the IRS chase you to your grave with penalties and interest and liens and levies. You need real help now. I'm Dan Pilla. I wrote the book on tax debt settlement, and I help thousands of people solve tax problems they thought couldn't be solved. I can help you too. Call 800-34-NO-TAX or go to my website, danpilla.com. That's danpilla.com. danpilla.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
I'm crazy about My Magic Mud. This is the most important oral care product created this millennium, and I'm not kidding. We all have different opinions on politics and issues, but we all have mouths. And I want yours to be as clean as possible, with teeth as bright as they were meant to be. I will never be without My Magic Mud. It's a little surprising, but man, does it work. If you only listen to one thing I say ever, go to mymagicmud.com and get 20% off with code FTL. mymagicmud.com, code FTL.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can join us here. In the remaining moments, we have enough time for you. If you want to join us now, the number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. You're invited to ForkFest 2020, the 4th annual ForkFest. It is a decentralized libertarian camping festival in the White Mountains of New Hampshire, a very beautiful location called Rogers Campground. This coming 2020 ForkFest is going to be, I think it's going to be the biggest one. This year's was bigger than I expected it to be. It grew quite a bit between year 2 and 3. This was the 3rd year this year. And I expect it's going to grow more into 2020. Plus, it's now going to be happening later. So it's going to be 2 weeks later than it was this year. Because previously, in the last 3 years, ForkFest happened before the Porcupine Freedom Festival, which is the festival that ForkFest forked off of. And in 2020, it will be happening after the Porcupine Freedom Festival. So it will actually be warmer, considering that it was actually pretty chilly when we first showed up at ForkFest this year. It's cold in them there White Mountains, even at the end of springtime. in New Hampshire. So we will actually be into the summertime, so we'll be a good solid week into summer when ForkFest starts in 2020, and it will be going all the way through Independence Day. So it's actually going to be June 29th through July 5th. So Independence Day will be the final full day, the final night of ForkFest 2020. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
And another aspect is that essentially we can market ForkFest all the way through the Porcupine Freedom Festival, which goes on the week before.
Correct.
To, people who are up there looking for a good time and they
want to stay.
Yeah, they want to stay.
And there's no ticket because there's no central board of organizers. There's no bureaucratic, nonsense. There's no control that you would expect from a festival. There's no, access that you just have to pay for the camping site, with the campground. Follow the campground's rules, and there aren't too many of them, and you're going to have a good time. It's a great event. Go to forkfest.party. It's an unofficial website.
When you say not too many, too many rules, this place lets people open carry guns.
Well, yeah, they do. As a matter of fact. I've seen people that open carry guns, and they don't seem to care too much about marijuana use, and it's a pretty laid back campground. I like it. So get your reservations in now or as soon as possible, because the campground for decades has had a history of doing a fireworks show on Independence Day weekend, and so there's going to be other people in the park besides ForkFesters. So it's going to be bigger, not just because ForkFest is going to get bigger, but also because other people who don't even know that we're going to be there are going to be in the park as well. So it could be, I'm not going to say it's a sellout, but the park's going to be pretty busy on that weekend.
Yeah.
So you want to reserve your space sooner rather than later. Forkfest.party. You can link over to a Telegram chat room, a Forkfest forum, and connect with some of the other Forkfesters there. Let's go to your calls and thoughts. We're talking about Uber and Lyft and whether or not they are independent contractors, or the people that work there or drive, rather, are independent contractors or employees. You can also bring up what you want. Let's go to the phones, to the fun. Jerry's in Myrtle Beach listening to WRNN. Hello, Jerry.
Hey, it's Gary, but that's no problem.
Sorry, Gary. Go ahead, sir.
No problem. That guy that called in is another mad, pissed off taxi cab driver. I'm an Uber driver.
Okay.
And I've been driving for Uber for several years, and you're absolutely right. They're gonna end up screwing themselves if they keep treating their drivers. Their support system stinks for the drivers and so on. But listen, if you're an employee, then they're pulling payroll taxes out of you, which they don't.
Right.
So you are, and everything you said is exactly right. And I get the middle finger from these taxi cab drivers all the time.
Really?
Because they've had a monopoly on this industry for decades, and now they got some competition. They don't know how to deal with it, and now they're all pissed off because you got guys out here that are killing them. And all I can tell you is that capitalism, if you believe in it, adjust and adapt. They got to do what they got to do to.
Well, they would rather use the violence of the state to protect their position. I mean, if all you've been getting is the middle finger, you've lucked out. Some of these Uber drivers have had their cars attacked physically by cab drivers, by angry cabbies smashing out, their brake lights, for instance, boxing them in to try to keep them on the side of the road and just to harass them in as many ways as possible. I mean, it's outrageous.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I've had more than a middle finger. I had one road rage me, pull up beside me and try to run me off the road one time because he was all mad at me and everything. But, that's fine. I don't get mad at I'm like, whatever, you're just showing your butt. That's why I've got my dash cam in there.
Nice.
I start pointing at my dash cam and I'm like, okay, do it. Once you point at that dash cam, that'll diffuse the situation 90% of the time. And
it will.
They chill out. But anyway, I just wanted to go in there and say he's full of it. We're out there. We're just trying to make a little extra money. Some people do it full time. I don't. But I've been doing it for over 3 years now. And it's a great way to make a little extra money. Although when I first started, I was making a lot more money than I am now, and I'm getting
What are they down to? Because as I was saying, when I started, it was like 2015 or something. It was 80%. Then they cut it to 75%. What are they paying out these days?
I'm not even real sure, but I've definitely seen the memos that come over tell you that there's been. They don't tell you they're cutting your pay. They give you a little memo saying that there's been a change in their policy, and you got to agree to it.
We've made adjustments.
To be honest with you, I don't read it. I just go out there and do my thing and whatever. But
cool.
But
Jerry?
yeah, but you're absolutely right. Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
You call for an Uber, especially here in Myrtle Beach, it's very rare you'll wait 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Because there's everybody and their brothers down here is doing it. That's another reason why there's been such a reduction in take is there's just so many people doing it. But you call for a taxi and you're going to be waiting. So, these guys, if they want to compete, figure it out. That's all I can tell you.
I'm with you, Jerry. Great call. Thanks for sharing your experience with us here tonight. So again, he's not a huge fan of Uber and Lyft. He's got criticisms about how they handle support for their drivers, and they're big. Uber's a big company. They're a massive corporation. They're not great, but they did innovate better than the cabbies did, than the cab companies did.
Well, I mean, the cab companies don't listen to the cabbies. I mean,
sure.
Let's be serious.
I didn't mean to target the cabbies themselves, but the companies. But some of the cabbies, as he pointed out, are very very bad behaving individuals, and they are anti this competition. Let's go to Don in Michigan, listening to WBCK in Battle Creek on FM. Go ahead, Don.
Okay. Hey. I've really only got one experience with Lyft, not Uber, but Lyft.
As a driver or a rider?
As a rider.
Okay.
And I could tell you about that after I'm done with my other comments, if you like.
Sure.
But I'm not very experienced with them. It wasn't as all that I thought it was cracked up to be. But what I want to talk to you guys about is a little bit ago, and it took me a while to catch your phone number because I was driving. Mm-hmm. You guys were going on about time and a half and benefits. And, I hear you guys bouncing stuff off each other, and I don't want to call you a couple of idiots, but you're uninformed. You really are.
Okay, what are we missing here?
About?
Okay, so what you're missing here is this. I work in a factory, and I've been there for a while. Right now, I am hourly. I was at one time salaried and in management. And you guys were talking about, the government makes you offer this, the government makes you do this and that. You have to pay time and a half. Well, we value our employees. If we get somebody new in there who doesn't know what they're doing, we pretty much have to assign somebody to stand over.
You just got really muffled. I don't know if you moved your phone away from your mouth or something like that, but it got hard to hear you.
I think I did. I was taking off my coat because I just came in the house.
Okay, you're better now. Go ahead.
So, anyway, like I said, when we get a new employee in there, we have to have somebody pretty much watching them full time. They'll hurt themselves.
Sure.
They'll somebody else. They will turn a whole lot of product into junk in no time at all.
Mm-hmm.
And we value our employees because they're trained and they know what they're doing. And when we have more work than typical, we don't need to bring somebody else in to do that work for straight time.
That's great.
We love to have our employees do it for time and a half because it's cheaper.
I'm glad to hear that. And there's certainly some companies that don't mind doing that. I didn't mean to say that all companies behave the same way, but would you agree that there are definitely companies out there who will do everything they possibly can? Usually it's low-skill jobs, right? Like
try retail.
Retail or restaurants or, fast food. Huh?
Well, even some of these low-skill jobs, you got to have people who know what they're doing. Like
course.
I said, we value our employees. We offer benefits. We offer health insurance, vision insurance, dental insurance. We want to retain our employees.
Absolutely.
We offer not only matching on a 401k plan, we offer a defined benefit program because we want.
I'm really glad to hear that,
employees.
Don. We don't need to go through all the benefits, but I appreciate what you're saying.
We're not doing a pitch for your working for your company.
What he's saying is that the high-skilled jobs are more likely to treat their employees better.
Right, but I mean, everybody on this show has worked a crap job, and these crap jobs often do exactly what you're saying.
I was saying,
is avoid paying people.
They max you at 40 hours. That's the end of it.
Yeah, the time and a half that you want.
So I'm glad, Don, that you work for such a great company, man. Thank you
awesome.
For calling and sharing that with us. We'll see you tomorrow night. You can join us online. In the meantime, over at freetalklive.com. A couple people calling in right now. You're calling too late. Call earlier in the show, and we will get you on. See you tomorrow.
Balance of Nature. Changing the world, one life at a time.
Your product is absolutely amazing. I can't tell you how my life has been changed so completely. I'm just at a loss to describe. I don't know how I could ever tell Dr. Howard and Susan, his dear wife, how much I deeply appreciate all of the work they put into this magnificent product. I mean, there's so many things that have improved, and I'm only just beginning.
Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. Call or go online now and become a preferred customer, which gives you our best pricing and free shipping. And we will take an additional 35% off of your first order. This will be a limited time offer, so don't wait. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code FTL.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer-term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Questioning Authority is coming up next, live after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,468, silver at $16.97, and Bitcoin is trading around $8,447. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, it's an open secret. The deep state is working hand in hand with Silicon Valley social media giants like Twitter, Facebook, and Google to control the flow of information. Mint-press news reports that include suppressing, censoring, and sometimes outright purging dissenting voices, all under the guise of fighting fake news and Russian propaganda. Most recently, it was revealed that Twitter's senior editorial executive for Europe, the Middle East, and Africa, is an active officer of the British Army's 77th Brigade, a unit dedicated to online warfare and psychological operations. In other words, he specializes in disseminating propaganda. The news left many wondering how a member of the British Armed Forces secured such an influential job in the media. The bombshell that one of the world's most influential social networks is controlled in part by an active psychological warfare officer was not covered at all in the New York Times, CNN, CNBC, MSNBC, or Fox News, who appear to have found the news unremarkable. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition